Big hairy man balls.
Happy Wednesday. Kick that happy console gamer point right, point left T.
Everyone doing today? Today on the show, we're going to react to Digital Foundry's brand new 55-minute video where they essentially are reacting to the backlash that they got over DLSS 5. Huh? You didn't hear a single fucking thing I said. The show's over. Let's try it again. How is everyone doing today? On the show today, we're reacting to Digital Foundry's. Look at them. We're reacting to their, as I like to call it, damage control. Thank you to K-Nubs who said this.
Happy Wednesday. Take that happy console gamer point right.
I sent that to him. I sent that to him. Ani, thank you for the support. He said this.
Big hairy man balls.
Pixel Boy in the chat is gonna get banned 100%.
Jay's pussy.
So how is everybody on this Thursday? You good? You guys good? Anthony, nice to see you. Appreciate you here. Who else do we got here? Portable ham sandwich. Wait, what is this all? What's this about? The whole DLSS 5 thing? Yes. Digital Foundry, they made a video. It's 55 minutes long. We're gonna see what it's about, but there's a statement in this that I think you guys are gonna find super interesting. So that's what we're doing on the show today. Tomorrow on the show, we're playing the one and only Crimson Desert, and I believe the reviews are dropping soon.
Absolutely, Spider-Man brand New Day trailer looks epic.
I haven't watched it. Let's see if Crimson Desert reviews have not dropped yet. So I think the embargo is for 6 o'clock, so we have 45 minutes until that happens. Who knows, man? Smoking Socks, thank you for being a member for 20 months. I appreciate the way you look, the way you taste.
Banana.
You're a good-looking man. Demolition Daddy says, I'm going to buy it tomorrow at lunch. Congratulations to you. You got money.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. How is everybody? Dino, nice to see you. Black Sheep, appreciate you. Boharb, what's up? Dino, Punch My Pixel, how are you? Are your joints oily and ready for action? Yes, tomorrow on the show. I really can't wait for that. I can't wait for this game. I can't wait. Did you get anything for pre-ordering it on stream? No, you don't get anything. Not a cent. What's this?
If you wanna ban me, ban my Bonner. It's the troublemaker now. Jay, go to McDonald's, eat 5 Big Macs, go home and take a massive shit. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Pixel Boy, thank you for that. K-Nubs, I sent that to Johnny Millennium. He said, ha 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 ha. He's laughing at your super chat, my friend. Dino, how are you, man? Booch?
Boochie.
DSP's Gin Knight, nice to see you. Shiny, appreciate you. Roman, nice to see you. D Junior. So today on the show, we're doing something that a lot of people have been asking me to do, and that's react to videos, which I haven't been doing. So we're going to do that today. All right. Oh, you son of a bitch. Listen, Shane's World, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Bubster has gifted a goddamn membership. Let's put it right there. We have one gifted membership. Thank you for supporting the stream. If you want to support the stream, the best way to do that is the gifted memberships. It helps out the future of the show. It helps my breasts. It helps my cat's 7 nipples. She lost one in World War II.
Congratulations.
And it helps Booch be able to afford his lawyers for the wallet, you know, the whole wallet pissing issues, which they're not going away. He's still doing it. Last night he pissed in 4 wallets. All that money's ruined. So Bubster, thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Pixel Boy is now gifted one. I thank you so much, Pixel Boy. You're a good-looking boy. Wait a minute. Did I say you're a good-looking boy? Bitch, can you call the council? Tell them I need some legal representation for that comment.
Jay's pussy.
K-Nubs, thank you. K-Nubs says this. He says, I'm calling it now. IGN and Game are going to give it an 8.5. Dreamcast guy's going to give it a 7.8 out of 10. 7 out of 10. And I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 because I'm missing 3 fingers.
Congratulations.
Well, guys, the reviews of Crimson Desert are dropping soon. This could be, we'll do it live. We'll look it up live while we're watching this video today. But this could be, okay. Everyone's here, right? Hill Phantom, I love your breasts. Fast, how are you? Also your hair. You got a hairy chest, a hairy hair. Hairy man hair.
Keep railing! Keep coming!
So thank you for the gifted. Raw Dakota's here, which is not disappointing because if you like a man that's orange and he doesn't talk like this, then it's Raw Dakota. Josh, how are you, my friend? Let's talk. Nice to see you. Who else do we got here? We're going to start watching the video soon. Is Zayland here? Zayland's fired. You're fired! He doesn't even have a fucking job. Oh, Zayland. Drummer Prink. I just called Drummer Punk a prick. Drummer prick. What a fucking prick. How dare you support me for 2.5 years, you fucking prick. What? It was a joke. It was just a joke. Calm down. It's not like him and I are having a side child. It's not a side hustle.
Jay's pussy.
Or is it? Drummer. You got a little explaining to do to your wife, don't you? Don't you?
That guy's gay. Thank you.
All right. Love that guy. All right. Hot Mike. Hot Dad. Hot Mike. So today on the show, we're going to watch this man. As you can see here, he looks like a cross between, I would say, I don't know. You put a wig on that, it's fuckable. Am I canceled for that? All right. We've got Glamorous Frog here. Where's... That's for you. Hopefully that makes you happy. DSP's Gin Knight, nice to see you. All right. How many of you guys in the chat know about DLSS 5? Let me know now. My hair's looking magical today. Well, that's because I didn't wash it. By the way, my shirt. You guys want to see my shirt today? Here's my shirt today. Do you know what this is from? Does anybody know what this is actually from? This is the new Digital Foundry merch. Look at it. It's the new Digital Foundry shirts. No, it's Killer Clowns. Glamorous got it. You got it. You got it too. That's pretty crazy you got that. This is a Killer Clown shirt. If you're hardcore into horror, then you know that. If not, you're fucking fired. You're fired. All right, so Darth Omega says damage control. We'll get into that in a second because I think that some of this video. Do your it laugh? I can't do my it laugh at the moment. I'm not all worked up, Dino. If you send me another box worth $1,600, then I'll do the laugh for you. But right now, no. Somebody in the chat just said this. Somebody just said that Richard Ledbetter looks like Darth Vader's corpse. The hell was that? Yeah. Okay, what? Oh yeah, by the way, it's not... Hang on, I have to fix that, guys. The TTS is not working on my voice.
All of your mom's holes are in damage control after giving her my DLSS 5.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for that. Astro Zombie, I hope you're doing well. So, we're going to react to this video today, and everyone's saying, well, what is the damage control? Well, just wait until you see this video. And I think that some of you out there will lose a little bit of respect and the integrity of Digital Foundry based on what they said today. Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. We'll see.
I got you, Dina.
Absolutely.
Nightbreaker, I love you. You're a good-looking man. You're a sexual man. You're a man of integrity. You're a man of lunch. So how many of you guys know what DLSS 5 is? Because if you don't know what that is, it's essentially very important you know what we're talking about today. So if you're a PC gamer, I'm sure you're aware of what DLSS 5 is. It was revealed by NVIDIA a couple days ago. It's new technology that is essentially replacing the lighting in all these video games. And basically what's happened here is they've produced one of the worst tech demos that I've ever seen in my life to show off new technologies, which a lot of us don't even want. I'd say 50% of us don't want it. The other 50% seem to be okay with it. I think it looks like AI trash. Well, you're going to see today in this video what they're talking about. So it's a new technology that is essentially replacing GPUs in the future. Now, it's not replacing GPUs in the future yet. That's just me, projecting a little here. What's going to happen is the 50 series of GPUs is going to use this new DLSS 5 technology, but I think that eventually all technology-based software through NVIDIA will be through their GPUs, and you'll get less onboard power and more cloud interference, which is what I'm calling it these days. So which is going to enable lazy development. So that's my point. Darth Omega says hit and miss for the lighting is fine. Doesn't change too much of the characters, just change the game's art style, which we're going to get into, Darth. I agree with you. It's all about how the developers utilize these tools, right? I use AI to do searches and compile data. I use AI. It's a very good tool for that, but for the creation of something that general public is going to play, or a movie or watch or whatever, listen to music, using AI for the creative aspects in life, I think is gut-wrenching. I think it's terrible, and I think that we're losing touch with what humanity is supposed to be doing, and that is going through a lot of hours and agony to create something that's made with passion. You guys know when a video game's made with passion, you can tell the difference between a game that's made with passion and integrity and original thoughts than a game that's made with AI. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think I'm wrong about this. So that's That's what I think. Let's Stock. What's up, dude? He says, I completely agree with you. Thank you. Anybody else agree with me on that topic? Andrew agrees. Thank you. You guys are both not getting banned. I appreciate you. Thank you, Andrew. Anybody else want to not get banned in the chat?
Mamja.
Tim, I love you. Thank you.
Listen, just make a game studio that only uses AI and call it Slop Video.
Yeah, totally. Now, let me, you guys probably think I'm fence sitting on some of these topics here, but we're going to watch this video and you're going to see that I'm not fence sitting. I have a strong opinion on this, but I don't believe that AI should be utilized in the creation of anything that has to do with being creative. It should not be utilized because, number one, a computer can never be a human. Number two, it's stealing all of that information from humans' ideas as is. So we're getting regurgitated ideas with no passion behind them. Now, of course, you can argue my point by saying Hollywood's cooked because they don't have original ideas. But you know what I'm saying here. Let's be honest here. I don't think there's such thing as an original idea. I think that there's passion. There's a difference here. There's a difference between an original idea and being passionate and creating something using an idea that already exists. And also, there's something to be said about the fact that a lot of creators might not be looking at other people's work and creating something. And while that something may have already appeared in another movie or a game, it doesn't mean that it's not a great idea to put in a game. Look at Expedition 33. Gameplay-wise, we've seen it. Story-wise, we've seen great stories like that. But, when you put something together like this, made by passionate humans, AI can't achieve that. It's cooked. It's cooked then. We're done. It's just not going to happen. The only good thing I can think of is releasing versions of Morrowind and Skyrim with upscaling using AI. I agree with that. AI upscaling on old videos that look very blurry with low pixel counts is something that AI can be utilized. Yes, Mr. Steele, thank you for tuning back in here. Darth Omegas, appreciate you. Who else is here right now? We're not going off the rails. Tomorrow on the show, we're playing Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is about to have their reviews dropped. We're going to react to the reviews live right now. Now, I don't like leaking information, and Mario Kart, what's up, dude? Hill Phantom, I love you, buddy. I don't like talking about information ahead of NDAs, which, if I've signed one, I never break NDA. So, I will just say this. Is it possible to get early reviews? Yeah, some of the early reviews, they came out already. I'm not going to say what they say yet, but there's some crazy reactions, dude, to this game. Oh, look who's here.
Are you smoking your socks? Are you smoking your socks? Are you smoking
Justin
your
in the
socks?
chat. Congratulations to Justin.
Congratulations.
Guys, the cops are here. Hide the drugs. So,
Jay, from now on, I'm using AI to write all my movie scripts and firing all my writers. Thank you.
Tim, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Tim, thank you for the support, guys. I really appreciate it. I've been... Oh, man. The start of this year was terrible for me. I know that's terrible for a lot of people out there. I never imagined in a million years this many people would still be watching my show and reacting and gifting and all of that stuff. 2 years later. Thank you, man.
How often does Justin have to replace his stock since you keep smoking them?
I think Justin has probably about 1,400 pairs of socks. and he utilizes a washing machine. So let me just say this then, okay? I did read some of the early reviews. He says every Christmas he's got to replace them. Okay, take this with a grain of salt because I haven't looked up the source of where this early review came from for Crimson Desert. But Crimson Desert reviews drop in, I believe, half an hour. What I read was that this game is as impactful as Skyrim. It is as impactful as Red Dead Redemption. If it is that case, then we are mere hours from the release of the game on PC. In fact, I believe it drops later tonight. Now, you know, I've also heard other people say certain things about the game. So, I mean, I'll be able to talk about it in about half an hour. So get ready. Get ready. There's a possibility, you know, it's going to get out of hand. While we're live,
Sorry, Justin. I can't stop coming your socks.
Are you smoking your socks?
One Japanese reviewer is, I quote this, is saying that it is Ocarina of Time levels of... I don't want to give it all away. So we're about to see. I don't know. Let's see if it's out yet. I know the Crimson Desert review embargo. Here we go. The Crimson Desert review embargo will drop at 3 p.m. PT. So there you go. We have about half an hour before we find out how good it is. This is exciting because how long has it been since we've seen a game with this much like hype and impact? So we have about half an hour or even less, 25 minutes until we find out if this is possibly one of the biggest games ever released. And I know that people are like, well, that's not possible. That's just insane. Trust me, I've read things in forums for people that are reviewing the game, and I've seen some people saying things early online. They're saying Ocarina of Time levels of hype. They're saying that it is Skyrim level earth-shattering. And they're saying that we haven't seen a game like this for a decade. So rather than us shit all over this, let's just get hyped for a second here. If all of a sudden we get this game, and it's like game of the year, and it's one of the best things that's ever been made, and it's in the top 50 games of all time, shouldn't we actually be excited about the next 25 minutes? How do you guys feel about the game? I know that we don't have a lot of trust in gaming at the moment, but my opinion on this, based on the people who I talk to and the things I've seen, I think we might have a game that we should all be extremely hyped about, which I will be playing on the show tomorrow at 5 p.m. EST. In fact, I might even start earlier, depending on how these reviews go. If these reviews are saying it's game of the year, it's game of the decade, it's one of the best games ever made, blah, blah, blah. If they're saying that, I'll get up early and play the game because I won't be able to wait. So, I mean, listen. We should just be positive for a change because, look, we're going to have to talk about negativity in a moment anyways. Look at that guy. That's Darth Vader's corpse. Am I allowed to say that? Joking aside, you know, I love what they do over there. Do I think it's necessary that we have to fucking break down every single game? Not necessarily. I don't think gaming is all about Darth Vader's corpse. But I do think that it's important sometimes that we know where the future of gaming is going. Oh, shit. Oh, Raw Dakota. Oh, shit. Raw Dakota. Oh, fuck.
There have been too many disappointments. I haven't gotten truly hyped about a game since the launch of No Man's Sky.
Yeah. And that one really hurt me, he says. Let me check my email.
There have been too many disappointments. I haven't gotten truly hyped about a game since the launch of No Man's Sky. That one really hurt me.
Yeah, dude. Well, remember, like, overhyping a game can lead to disappointment, but it's been a while since any of us, I think, any of us in the gaming community has had the opportunity to be, you know, actually surprised by something like
I've
this.
heard and been told it's easily a Game of the Year contender.
Yes, Twiz, appreciate it. I've also heard that. I've heard people say it's Ocarina of Time level. I heard people say that it is Skyrim level. I heard people say it's Red Dead Redemption levels of action through and throughout. And I can't wait to play the game. So we're going to do this first. We're going to wait for the embargo to lift. We've got... Let's do this together. Let's have some fun for a change here. We might be on the verge of finding out that one of the best games of the decade is about to be released. So, rather than look at Darth Vader's corpse...
Are you smoking your socks?
We're going to wait for the next, what is it? In 22 minutes, we find out how good this game is, and we're going to check out some of the review scores together and experience this together. So, this might be really, for real, a historic moment on the show here. It's been how many years since we got a game that not only was very well made and extremely engaging, but how long has it been since, as a gamer, we could get excited about a game? Like, when's the last time we got a game and we were happy about it? We're talking about Crimson Desert. So, like, you know, Mailsman says I'm getting the game for free.
Congratulations.
Helldivers 2 definitely did that. Whoops. Helldivers 2 was... Let me move this back up there. Helldivers 2 was definitely a game that caused a bit of hype, but we're talking on a level of, like, Ocarina of Time, Red Dead Redemption, Witcher 3. We're talking on that level. This is the level we're talking on. And I'm not just saying this. I've seen some people saying that in the review community. So let's get excited. We're 21 minutes away from the reviews dropping. So I don't know. I don't know what to think here. Hang on. It's still not up. We've got people essentially announcing early reviews here, but I wouldn't trust that. That could be anyone. So somebody says this, though. Savor it, because this is as good as it's going to get for a very long time. And that, I guess, well, yeah, that is, you know, okay, here. In particularly highlighting include the world design and in-game systems. Here's what I wanted to read to you guys. The headline quote, however, he was more than happy to describe it as the game of his life. Now, this is apparently from a Korean reviewer who's played the game inside out. He goes on to quote Ocarina of Time, a quote from 1998 from Ocarina of Time that states, savor it, it's going to be as good as it gets for a very long time. That's exciting news for people who've been waiting for the game, blah, blah, blah. So we're so close to finding out if that's real or not. Now, you know, we also have Darth Vader here waiting, but we'll get to that after. 19 minutes. In 19 minutes, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. So we're going to do it live. I'm excited, man. I'm looking on Twitter right now. It looks like Twitter is, well, PC Gamer just put an article out saying that Crimson Desert is the most hyped game that they've ever seen. In a minute, quote. So, I'm so excited to find out if this is good or not. I'm just seeing if anything leaked early. It doesn't look like we're getting anything leaked early here, which is good. I don't think anybody should break embargo for this. So, is anyone actually hyped for it? Who do we got here? Nightbreaker says it's going to be a dud.
Have a good stream.
Banch, thank you, my friend. Does anyone think it's going to be good? Anyone excited for it? Okay, let's just have this debate for a second. Why are you not interested in the game, and why are you interested in the game? Let's get some comments in here. We're about to find out if it's any good or not. And this is like one of those moments that I cherish in gaming, man. I haven't felt this excited for a game since I'm trying to think here. You know, every time a new Mario game comes out, I get hyped like this, but it's been a while since I've really truly seen a game 5 years ago when it was revealed, and I sat back and just thought, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Zalen's back. You're fired.
Congratulations.
So we're mere moments from finding out if this is a generational game or an absolute dud. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be absolute crazy. So I hope you guys that are tuned in are ready for this, because early hype is calling it a generational game, which is so exciting as a gamer, man. And then after that, we're gonna watch Darth Vader damage control his company.
Hey everyone, welcome to the latest edition of DF Direct's Q&A show. And
so we'll be watching that right after the review embargo. So I'm patiently waiting. We're all waiting here. All right. I asked you guys why you're excited and why you're not excited. Glamorous Frog says it could be really fun. Well, okay, I know the answer to that. Apparently it is. Hellcat says it's going to be cool for 2 weeks. That's it. Glamorous says GTA is my game, though. True. Andrew says, I need a new open world game to get lost in, just like Skyrim. I agree with you there, man. Marie says, I just looked at the gameplay. Demolition Daddy just wants to fly. Listen, get on my roof, I'll push you. Last time I was hyped for a release was Cyberpunk. And look at that game on day one, says Irish Pirate. That's true. That's true. It's that game came out.
I'm excited. Cock in hand. Ejaculation. Ah!
Oh God, Nightbreaker. All right. 14 minutes away from the review embargo. The review embargo. What else was said here? 9240 says, I'm not putting much stock into it being the end of all gaming, but it looks phenomenal. Wooden's Throne says, I got the digital deluxe edition, says Woodens. Here's what I have to say to him.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate him being back in the community. He's a good-looking man. He's a sexual man. Thank you for the support today, by the way. Grim says, do you think DSP will play it? Well, DSP will play it probably. And then people will get upset at him and he'll crash out within 5 minutes and throw a salt hurricane. The game should be called Cream Desert.
Cream!
Preload is already alive, apparently. Preload's working? No. Andrew, don't lie. Hang on a second. Andrew's saying that the preload is working? Listen, I'll give Andrew a preload. Preloading. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Preload works. Yes. You can preload the game as of right now. I thought you meant, like, play it. Yeah, dude. Well, look. I have it 95% downloaded here. I thought you meant play it. I was like, what? Like, you can't fucking play it? Wait, what did that say? Wait a minute. Did I just read you could play it? Wait a minute. Did they drop it early? No, there's no way. Oh, by the way, I think the game has... No, you can't preload it. Hang on, let's look up something here.
Everyone think of Rich and rise next to me.
Thank you, Mr. Williamson. I don't know who you're talking about, though.
Oh my.
Irish says the first review out is from Top Gamer. It's not out yet. There's no actual reviews out. Top Gamer. Who knows who that is? He gives it a 6 out of 10. Well, there goes our dreams. That's not even an early review. So, we are 11 minutes away. Dude, I'm so nervous about this. By the way, Crimson Desert has sold 400,000 pre-sale copies, pre-launch copies as of right now. That's $20 million. The game's not out yet. So that's crazy. There's going to be a lot of returns. Well, you guys, we're going to find out together, man. We're 10 minutes away. It seems like... It seems like some people want this game to fail. I personally don't want it to fail. So no reviews are out yet.
Listen,
so hold your horses.
I'm awake. You can start the stream now.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Wood. Thank you for the support. Thank you, Mr. Williamson, for the support. I appreciate you. Rise next to me. And Twiz, he says, I've been heard and told that it's easily Game of the Year contender. Dude, I mean, we're about to find out, and then after that, we're going to watch this video with Darth Vader. Okay, we're still waiting. 10 minutes. I'm nervous, man. I'm so nervous. I just want this game to be good. Pre-hype is saying it's game of the decade. I mean, this is exciting, isn't it? Irish Pirate says the Wii U version has ray tracing. I thought you just called him Darth Balbino. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, Darth Bobino.
Congratulations.
We're going to watch Darth Balbino damage control. Wait, Dreamcast guy already played it? What are you talking about? Gaming Survivor says, I'm heartbroken. I don't think Dreamcast guy played it.
Keep railing.
Why are people saying Dreamcast guy played it? What's up, gamers? Dreamcast guy here. Glamorous says, I'm going to be a complete asshole in the game. What? And not in real life like usual?
Boochie.
He has a video up. So wait a minute. Dreamcast guy broke embargo? No. No, hang on. Let's see. Guys. He's got a fucking video up? Dude, the embargo's not even up yet. What the fuck? He broke embargo? He broke embargo by 8 minutes so he could be first. What the...
We are talking about Crimson Desert because I was completely wrong about this game. Running up to launch, I really couldn't actually believe some of the marketing and some of the trailers because the developers were showing off stuff that just seemed impossible. Trains.
All right, well... broken embargo. Blacklisted. That right there is not how to be a fucking journalist. He fucking broke embargo. Holy shit. Guys. Dreamcast guy's gonna get fucking roasted for this. He fucking broke embargo. By 14 minutes. Holy shit. Oh. Oh well. Drama shit is so boring, says DD. I'm not talking about drama. I'm talking about legitimately somebody breaking embargo so they could get views. Oh, God. Dude, don't break embargo. That's embarrassing. I'm not watching that. What are you, fucking crazy? We're not watching that. He's got to pay for those teeth somehow, says Biff. Oh, God. All right, so it looks like Dreamcast guy broke embargo so he could be the first one out of the gate, which is sad. Yeah, that's embarrassing. That really is embarrassing. Yeah, you know, you get a game for free and you break embargo. That's not a good look. That's really not a good look. That's a really bad look. You know, one of the things, hang on a second. One of the things in this industry, I'm just checking my email. One of the things in this industry that you can lose quickly is your integrity. And when you upload something like that ahead of everybody else because you're able to, that just shows true colors. So that's embarrassing. He needs that carp. He was in the UK. Embargo is overrated. Crimson hairline. Really depends which time zone you're in. No. The game universally is dropping at the exact same time across the globe. So, Dreamcast guy broke embargo by 14 minutes so he could be ahead in the algorithm. It's as simple as that. If you guys go and put... Guaranteed, let's do a test right now. If you put Crimson Desert review into search engine, Let's see. How far is Dreamcast Guy up in the search engine on that one? I don't know. It's going to take a while, but basically, we'll see. Here's the thing. People are uploading the first reviews are leaked, so that's going to sort of is embargo legally binding? Absolutely. So if you want to be serious for a second here, if you break embargo, you can be taken to court for up to $100,000. So I've signed these things for my whole life here. So if you go, what's more embarrassing, people watching Dreamcast Guy or him breaking embargo? Well, trust me, I'll be very open about this. When a fellow person on YouTube, fellow old man, when somebody breaks embargo, trust me, all of the people that did 100-hour playthrough and reviews were all bound to the same embargo. If you break embargo by 14 minutes, guess what happens behind the scenes? Trust me, there's going to be emails sent directly to the PR firm that handles all of the review units. And it's going to be flooded with other reviewers talking about Dreamcast Guy breaking embargo. And he will get blacklisted for this, 110%. That studio will never give him anything ever again. There's no way in hell. I've seen it happen multiple times. I've been reviewing games for 16 years. It's not going to happen for him. He's ruined himself. And on top of it, other reviewers are going to hate his guts for this move. It's a really stupid move, man. It really is, man. Just like play the game fairly. Play the game fairly. If you're going to be part of this industry, why are you cheating? All right, here we go. 1 minute until reviews. Here we go. 1 minute until reviews. I have no idea. So let's look up Meta. So guys, let's look on Metacritic. You know, this is a combination of all of the reviews together. Here we go. I don't know what's going to happen here, man. I'm nervous because I'm kind of excited here. So here, we're waiting. We're waiting for the update. I'll keep refreshing it. Oh, here it comes. 8 out of 10. Here's some of them. Okay, there it is. There it is. It's getting 8 out of 10. So let's look up. Let's look up who's giving it the most. Looks like IGN's giving it. GameSpot gives it a... Oh no, they give it a 7 out of 10. Critical Hits hates the game. Says the game ultimate falls short of expectations. Let's see what the top says. Says, despite minor issues, it sets a new benchmark for the style of open world experience. That's good, no? 9 out of 10. Crimson is frustrating and buggy. Can be very player unfriendly, but it's also deep, seamlessly endless, monumental. Okay, well that's positive. GameSpot, let's see. It's thrilling. It might be too good to be true, but it's a whole world getting lost in. So there you go. The hype's over. 8 out of 10. So I guess if we're not seeing 10 out of 10s off the board, there we go. God damn it. God damn it. All right, PC Gamer. Let's watch this. A rapid review from PC Gamer.
Crimson Desert is what happens when you don't say no. Seriously, you can do everything in this game. Tame a horse, fish, mine ore, steal goats and sell them on the black market, dye your armor.
So you can do a lot.
Decorate a house, absolutely everything. I'm 75 hours in and...
75 hours in? 75 hours in?
Gonna cry. Gonna suck my thumb and my cockwa.
Nightbreaker, I'm heartbroken. I'm a little disappointed in these scores.
Just play it and make up your own damn mind.
I will. Let's just watch this.
Yeah, I still feel like I barely scratched the surface
So she's saying that she's 75 hours in, hasn't scratched the surface
of what it has to offer. It is the biggest, most interesting game I've ever played.
Okay. That's a crazy statement. The biggest, most interesting game I've ever played from PC Magazine? Okay.
One with so much friction and frustration that it's hard to completely fall in love with it. You take on the role of Greymane Cliff as an enemy ambush leaves him for dead. His
story-wise, I've never been a huge fan of this. It seems pretty flat.
Comrades scattered. Reunite with them, form new alliances, and unlock additional playable characters, Damien and Unka. It's developer Pearl Abyss's first foray into single-player territory after a decade of MMO making, and that DNA is all over Crimson Desert. Mediocre questing and a disjointed story that kind of makes me feel like I'm suffering from amnesia. It's
Oh, no. I always knew the story would be terrible.
merely a vessel to get to the good stuff, the combat. You can fight hordes of enemies in large-scale liberations, invade bandit camps, and take on a slew of hardcore bosses. The first two are great and allow for Cliff's full combat flexibility, with a huge skill tree of armed, unarmed, and magical combat. The last one might tickle your soul's pickle, but I couldn't help but find them frustrating and a little unfair. But it's easy to forget how much I dread those bosses when there is so much to do. The map is ginormous, and I'm still discovering new things. It's a crazy big game, vast and obtuse, and it's either going to be your worst nightmare or your dream come true. Follow PC Gamer for more news, preview.
So, it's an 8 out of 10 from PC Gamer. 8 out of 10 from PC Gamer. Man, oh man. Eurogamer. Let's check out Eurogamer's. Oh no. Eurogamer is giving it 3 out of 5 stars. A vast world. Even more vast. With the mixed activities, with great da-da-da-da-da. But what is good without much character, texture, or charm? So they're saying it's dull. So, Eurogamer. Man. God damn it. I thought we were gonna have a good game today. Now I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. This sucks. Well, I mean, yeah, 8 out of 10 is not bad. Let's not get out of hand here. Oh man, that's slightly disappointing. You know, based on what I've heard reviewers say and behind the scenes, they're saying it's incredible, blah, blah, blah. I knew that so I could talk about this now. I knew that the story is weak. I absolutely knew that the story was weak. I knew that a lot of the missions that were side quests were pretty bare bones basic shit. I knew that going into it. But I had heard that the 75 plus boss battles that you encounter in the game are fucking incredible. I heard the open world was fucking incredible. I heard people say it was a masterpiece. Like an actual masterpiece. So that must be some of the people that are giving it a 10 out of 10.
November 19th, 2026.
What does that mean? Hail Phantom, what does that even mean? Oh. Sorry, yeah. That's Grand Theft Auto 6. The one game that The one game to rule them all. So it looks like there's some... So some people are saying that it sets a new benchmark in this style for open world experiences. They're saying that with some fixes, this could easily be a masterpiece. Some people are saying that it's one of a kind. It's spectacular adventure. Oh my God. Who am I, DSP right now? A spectacular adventure with phenomenal crafting, open world exploration. So if you just want to walk around, apparently this game is for you. Destructoid, they gave it an 8.5. They say that it features a fantastic, rich story where players have a ridiculous amount of freedom, which is the biggest priority in this game. There's so much to do and so many places to see. It's easy to get lost in the ancient ruins, the mythical forests, the snowy mountains. A lack of polish breeds frustration, but nothing can shake up the firm foundations of this incredible title. That's from Destructoid. So at least that's a decent one. That's a decent review, right? It looks like it has problem. Forbes magazine says, but if the question was if Crimson Desert could really be that big and play well and keep you entertained the whole time, the answer for me is unequivocally yes. They gave it a 9.5 out of 10. That's a big deal. Comicbook.com, I don't know if we should really get into that, but they say that it's built on the impossible ambition of its side. The UI frustrates you. The inventory management system is certainly a setback from true perfection, but they cannot and do not obscure the brilliance breadth of the game. Even though that these are flaws, it's this game undoubtedly, I can't even talk today. Undoubtedly stands atop its peak of open world. Oh, wow. They're saying that it stands atop the peaks of open world games, looking down on nearly everything else, like legends like Elden Ring. 9 out of 10. This is a triumph of scale and vision, a world that lingers long after the play session ends. Here's Hardcore Gamer says that it's one of a kind, it's spectacular in adventure, it's phenomenal crafting world. MMORPG.com says, yet, as I sit here writing this review, I can't help but be in awe with what they have built in this game. The game will push forward open world design, much like games previous to it. Its combat will be a benchmark for many players moving forward. That's a big statement. Its visuals are among the best on PC to date, full stop. I can confidently say that Crimson Desert is a modern masterpiece despite its shortcomings. That's from MMORPG.com. Destructoid, we checked, I think, features a fantastic, rich content open world where the freedom of the player is the #1 priority. IGN Brazil gives it an 8.5 out of 10. It says that it's a well-rounded experience. So it looks like it's kind of a hit and miss game. It looks like if you really like it, you're going to say things like it's one of the best open world games to date. Games Radar says it takes time to leave the beaten path, but once you get off the beaten path, there's a sandbox better than anything else we've played, or better. The sandbox is better than anything in the story. So that's something. I mean, I guess it's coming down to if you want to play an open world game that lets you basically do anything, this might be one of the best. That's what I'm reading here. Now, I'm going to play it on the show tomorrow. I'm going through Twitter right now.
Undoabugly.
Nope.
You widgy.
Nope.
Undickedly.
Games, thank you, Nightbreaker. I appreciate you. It looks like Crimson Desert, this is from Games Radar, is a mess. But As you untangle its mechanics and compensate for its flaws, elements of genius and wonder make the experience worthwhile. They give it 8 out of 10. Anybody else that's popping in here we should see and talk about? IGN. Let's check IGN. IGN. They don't have the review out yet. That's weird. Why is IGN late on this one? Here's yahoo.com. Our playthrough thoughts after 150 hours playing the game. Wow. 150 hours in. Let me just get to the summary at the end. Basically, they're going to say they're giving it an 8.5 out of 10. They're basically saying it's confusing. You'll be confused and in awe, frustrated, delighted, surprised, and above all else, curious. Thank you, Banshee. I appreciate the support. You know, I don't know if you guys have noticed over the last little bit, I'm trying to do something different on the show and actually provide content rather than me just be a fucking... Well, I mean, yeah, I've been a maniac for the last 2 years on stream, but I want to talk about things too, and this is interesting to me. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. It says that Desert's deep and expansive world is very interesting and extremely immersive, and it's definitely worth playing. So that's from Yahoo. Let's see. I think that we got the big ones, right? Forbes says they've seen... Wow, Forbes magazine said that they've never seen anything like this. It's a stellar open world game on a scale that we've never witnessed before with a few trade-offs. So it looks like that I think that they have a hard time managing the inventory, which they can fix, I hope. And it goes on to basically say that the story is dull, which could be fixed, but that's kind of disappointing. I'll be honest with you. That's majorly disappointing. I'm just kind of reading headlines here. Most people are just basically saying that it's one of the biggest open world games to date, and depending on what play style you're in, Digital Foundry is now saying it's staggering and phenomenal. I don't know what that means. We could read into that after. So there you go. I feel a little disappointed on this news today. I thought that we'd get this this game would be incredible, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. It's disappointing. Are you guys disappointed with this? You wanted to see some 10 out of 10s? Let me go through Twitter here and see if anything's popping up. So overall, it's got a Metascore right now hovering at 80. So you can't complain about a game that does 80. That's pretty fucking good. Like, that's very impressive for the scale of the game. I'll say that. But we're going to play it on the stream tomorrow. Yeah, it does suck because, like, the hype beforehand, there's certain people that gave it 10 out of 10, and I know those people. They're saying that it's fucking insane. So, I mean, I still can't wait to play it. Pending says, people are going to buy it regardless of the shit. Cham, what's up? IGN has put 100 hours into it. Doesn't seem to have a review out yet. Oh, Christopher says, I see what you're doing, Jay. I like the reactional stuff. Thank you. We're going to react to Digital Foundry now. And Digital Foundry is in hot water for the reaction and the rebuttal to the review that we watched a couple days ago on the show. Drummer says, to be fair, Breath of the Wild story wasn't strong and it was still insane. All right. So without further ado, it's time. Hill Phantom, thank you, dude.
This turn from hopium to copium, real quick. I feel emotional deep inside. Thank you.
I don't know about copium. If it's an 8 out of 10, it's an 8 out of 10. I was looking for a 10 out of 10.
Look up The Legend of Kimori. It's 9/10 on Steam. Ha.
So we'll see. We'll see. Here we go. Let's start watching this because it's 55 minutes long. I've never really done something like this on the show. I hope you guys enjoy the new aspect of what I'm trying to bring to the show. If we don't all overly like it, we'll never do it again. Hill Phantom, thank you. Appreciate the support, my friend. And look up Legend. It's on Steam. Okay, dude. I'm going to highlight that comment, Biff, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to look it up after. So thank you to everyone that's tuned in today. I appreciate it. So we're going to live react now to Digital Foundry. So let's do this. Thank you for the support. Also, if you guys want to support the stream tonight, listen, I understand that when I do my off-the-rails streams and reactionary streams to you guys gifting memberships and all of that stuff, I get it. You guys are more interactive. You guys give more money to me. I understand how it works. But we're trying something new on the show, so I appreciate everybody just tuning in for this. So let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome to the latest edition of DF Direct's Q&A show, and we pushed this one back a little bit so we could talk more about DLSS 5. Joining me on this one, first of all, Oliver Mackenzie. Hello.
Yes, Rich. Good as always to see you, and happy to talk about DLSS 5.
Yep.
Rich on the end is like, I'm going to hang myself. He's like, what the fuck? Oh, we got support. We got support. Support is coming in from the one and only Raw Dakota. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Raw Dakota, thank you.
Absolutely. And, of course, Alex Battaglia.
Hey, everyone. After the blowout yesterday, only appropriate I'm here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm going to kick off, first of all, by holding my hand up and saying that, yeah, we understand a lot of the...
Guys, here we go. And this is what I wanted to talk about.
Feedback to the video. And I don't think... we did a good enough job on the day. We had a lot to say, not a lot of time to say it, and we went straight from seeing the demos into making the video.
Okay, so he's self-admitting here. Drummer Cream, I know. Ian, thank you for the support. Guys, thank you for supporting this. I appreciate it. Yeah, he
looks like he wants to quote Ralph from The Simpsons.
Well, I mean, listen, at least they came out and said that they shouldn't have done that video that way, right? I agree with it. Oh, shit. Ian, thank you. Thank you, 1 2 cents. I appreciate you. And Ian, let's continue here.
And, yeah, beyond that, hindsight is...
Ian, I appreciate it. There's only one thing that I've got a problem with, which you're going to see in a second here. Watch this.
A wonderful thing, right? But we should have taken more time with the material.
Which I agree with.
And I think it would have been...
Ian, thank you, dude. Are you trying to start a dollar train?
Prudent to wait to see the reaction from the audience and the developers to the keynote. And
all right, let's roll that back. Did you hear what he just said? Let's roll that back because this is the point I wanted to make.
Beyond that, hindsight is a wonderful thing, right? But we should have taken more time with the material. And
this line he's about to say, guys, is why he's losing a lot of respect. Ian, I appreciate it, dude. Ian is desperately trying to start a trade right now. Thank you, dude. Listen to this, though. This is the line that a lot of people are not agreeing with. So listen to this.
I think it would have been prudent to wait to see the reaction from the audience and the developers to the...
Oh, my God. We have a dollar train. Guys, we're going to... Listen. We're going to keep the dollar train... Thank you, Bubster. Thank you, Ian. Listen, right now, guys, here's what we're going to do. Because I'm really excited to talk about this. So the dollar train is not leaving the station yet. Here's the kicker, though. I'm going to keep tally of all of the dollars that come in. And at the end of this video, we will start the dollar train. So if you guys can keep count, we're at, what are we at right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you guys. 6, 7. Guys, we're on a dollar train, and we're at 8. Okay, guys, keep that going if you want. And at the end of this stream, we will have an absolute off the rails dollar train. You'll see. Ian, I'm sorry. We're trying to actually do content on the show for a change. What are we at now? 9? Thank you, guys. People don't want to watch content. You guys just want to watch JKB lose his mind. So that's what he just said there. Listen to what he said again.
With the material. And I think it would have been prudent to wait to see the reaction from the audience and the developers to the keynote.
So what he's essentially admitting to here, which I said on Twitter, which I'll pull up right now, this is a red flag. And I'm definitely not trying to be causing drama with this whatsoever. This isn't me trying to cause drama, okay? This is me pointing out something. So let me show this on stream here quickly. Here. Let me just stop that video. So he's just said it. Saying that you need to wait for the audience's opinion is a major red flag in my opinion. Why would you need to know what we think? I've been doing this for 16 years, and that's a telltale sign that you would skew your content to be less harsh or more positive based on viewers' opinions. I'm not saying that Digital Foundry is doing this, but it's worth noting. Tell me I'm wrong about that. Why would you need to wait or even make a comment about the audience having an opinion? Am I wrong about this, guys? Why would you need to talk like that? That doesn't make sense, man. That is basically saying that you have no integrity on your own opinion, and now you're backtracking on what you guys said last day.
We did a good enough job on the day. We had a lot to say, not a lot of time to say it, and we went straight from seeing the demos into making the video.
So he's basically, the excuse is that they didn't have enough time to produce the video, but on top of it, they should have waited for the audience's opinion.
And yeah, beyond that, hindsight is a wonderful thing, right? But we should have taken more time with the material. And I think it would have been prudent to wait to see the reaction from the audience and the developers to the keynote.
Why? That statement is what gives me red flags. That's like ruining your integrity. Why would you say something like that? Why would you point out the fact that you should have waited for the reaction from the viewers? That is the worst thing that I've ever heard Digital Foundry say, and it makes me question, is that what they've done in the past? Like all of these videos they've done. What?
Yeah, they had a terrible take on DLSS 5, but sending them death threats isn't the answer. It's crazy people go that far.
Well,
DLSS 5 isn't show.
Well, I agree with you, Omar. So it's like saying, let's wait for other people's opinion so we can essentially frame our opinion to match the majority opinion. That in my professional, let me just say that loosely, in my professional career, that is a very bad thing to say, man, especially if you're at Digital Foundry. Why would you admit to that if that was something you've done? That's not a good look. And yes, they did get pew-pew threats. I don't want to get demonetized here. But they did get threats, guys. They got some serious threats, which we're going to see right now.
And, yeah, audience and developers, both super important to what we do.
Oh, well, we should have let him say this whole line here. Listen to this.
With the material. And I think it would have been prudent to wait to see the reaction from the audience and the developers to the keynote. And yeah, audience and developers, both super important to what we do.
How can you take that out of context, guys? I don't see a way that you can take that out of context other than we should have waited so we knew if we should attack this technology or if we should agree with the technology. Who is that? That's Richard Ledbetter from Digital Foundry. Mr. Steele says, bro literally cooked himself in HD. We're going to get to the rest of the video, of course, but I mean, your job is to essentially have an opinion about something which they had 2 days ago. And then all of a sudden they backtrack and he has this statement. Now, listen, guys, I appreciate Digital Foundry. I love what they do over there. I love the benchmarking that they do. You know, when I wanted to learn more about PCs, I went to them. I'm not shitting on them. I am not trying to cause drama by doing all of this. I'm not. I'm literally just trying to get this point across. Why would you need to know if the audience cared or not? That's a red flag, man. I'm sorry.
Opinion is clearly divided.
JD in the chat's trying to direct my show. He says, stop pausing the video and just let it play. Okay. Yes, director.
Congratulations.
I did on this one, but looking over social media, it's been interesting to see varying opinions from both sides of the argument, audience and developers alike. Even so, lessons learned.
Lessons learned? Dude, this is not... Why is this an apology? And why is it backpedaling? This is damage control like I've never seen it before. By the way, I'm going to pause it more than fucking Review Tech USA. If you don't like it, suck my cock sideways.
But I guess, you know, going back to...
So he guesses. Can you believe he guessed?
The video we produced, why get...
Now he's talking about the video.
Excited about DLSS 5. Well...
Now he's excited about DLSS 5. No, I'm joking around. Let's go.
We spent 3 hours with 4 games and the Zora tech demo. We spoke in detail with the people that created DLSS 5. And whenever you're seeing something...
Jay, get on top of me and shove a red flag up my ass.
All right.
Congratulations.
New and cutting edge, there's an excitement you get coming out fresh from those sort of types of encounters. And yeah, we can talk strengths and weaknesses about the technology in a bit, but ultimately, this is our first real look at games that are being driven by neural rendering, right? And there's a hell of a lot going on here that's going to be defining the elements of next generation graphics.
I do find it kind of interesting he's leading with this again. You know, it's weird. Did you hear what he said? He's like, when you see things like this, you get awfully excited. So he's also, you know, I wouldn't say use the word manipulating you guys, but he's trying to imply that there was a lot going on and it was exciting to see it. And that's why they produced the video the way they did.
But I think we needed extra time to talk with our teammates and come to a consensus about what we're dealing with here, good and bad, before we put something on the record, and we didn't do that.
All right, so this is an apology.
Equally on the record, though, as emotive a subject as AI is, you're really not going to make your point effectively by actively threatening or sending death threats to the DF team.
Let me just say this. If you're somebody out there sending a death threat on the internet, you're a fucking loser. I've got probably 50 death threats in 16 years of doing YouTube. Some of them pretty legitimate to the point where police were involved. If you're fucking doing this over DLSS 5, you are a loser and you need to get a fucking life. That's fucking crossing the line. These guys don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. Well, maybe I do because I'm crazy. They don't deserve it, though. This is just guys talking about computers. If you truly believe that they shouldn't be on Earth anymore because they like DLSS 5, get some fucking help. Rejoin society, you fucking losers.
This is crossing the line and totally unacceptable.
I absolutely agree. Please don't do that. And I mean, if you're going to do that, you're a fucking loser.
So yeah, we put the video out, and as I mentioned, the idea was to follow up with a longer discussion, but the way things have sort of played out, we wanted to include supporter questions. So let's kick off with this one.
So let me just move my screen here. They're going to go over questions, and I think that we're going to learn a lot from this because, listen, I've never used DLSS 5. These guys have, so let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They've apologized for that original video that they put out that a lot of people were like, wow, this is terrible. So let's just go into this with open hearts and breasts and wallets for Booch, because Booch is going to be in jail by midnight.
Magnum Stash. Interesting video on DLSS 5. On first look, it appears too good to be true, and I suspect this is why the reaction has been mixed. Coincidentally, the sales of pitchforks have increased by 3,000% on Amazon. Ironically, it seems that NVIDIA has an image problem. The image output by DLSS 5 is so drastically different that people suspect foul play, as if NVIDIA has injected Snapchat filters into games against the will of developers. Do you think NVIDIA will have to show their working to assuage these concerns, to highlight how they're apparently using existing assets and not quote-unquote AI face filters that trample on the artistic vision? Intrigued to hear more about it before I head to B&Q.
It's been stated that people were saying that the slop that we saw 2 days ago from NVIDIA was trampling artists' vision, right? People were arguing about that. And then we found out, well, wait a second, Capcom and Bethesda were involved with the tech demo. We found out even more information early in the morning that Capcom apparently had no idea what NVIDIA was going to show. So to everybody that was saying, well, Capcom was involved, apparently they weren't. I don't know if he's going to talk about that, but let's see what he says.
Presumably for that pitchfork. Yeah, I'm just going to quickly take this one. Artistic integrity is something we touched on in the video, and we'll talk about that rather a bit more shortly. But for the record, during the demo we had, it was clear that all of the demos had been signed off by the studio.
Oh, well, he's now saying the demos are signed off. So I'm hearing...
Let 6 me be clear on this. There is no reality, no dimension, no universe in which it is okay to harass, threaten, and or harm someone. It's a crime. Opinions are like buttholes. We all have one of them.
Jay's pussy.
I absolutely agree. And also, Wood, thank you for the support of my show for all these years, my friend. I really appreciate that donation. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I agree. It's fucked up. I absolutely agree. But let's roll it back a couple seconds here, because he's saying that the developers signed off. I saw that they didn't, so we're getting conflicting things here, but let's see.
The record during the demo.
And Wood, thank you, my friend.
We had, it was clear that all of the demos had been signed off by the studios of, the people who made the game. So at that point, it assuaged some of the issues we had about the facial stuff in particular, along with the fact that it was clearly flagged as still being work in progress. How it was phrased was it's sort of like we're looking at a snapshot of current development. Things are going to change. We also told about the controls developers have to work with in getting the look right. But yeah, ultimately, Capcom, EA, Bethesda, and others signed off on everything you saw because they own the IPs, right? So how do you weigh that against trampling on artistic vision? DLSS 5 integrations can't exist without the studio's support. And obviously, some studios might not want to be involved, but clearly there are quite a few that are involved. This question from Abandoned Walnut.
So that's interesting, man, because I did see a huge hoopla, guys. People were saying, well, like Capcom was involved, they weren't involved. Digital Foundry is saying now, officially, that Capcom was involved with the tech demo, which I'm going to say right now is not a good look, especially with Bethesda. If Capcom thinks that that character or the characters in those games look better with DLSS 5 on using that tech demo, then we're in real fucking trouble. We're in real trouble if Capcom and Bethesda are going to rely on those lighting systems. Now, that's This backpedaling is kind of embarrassing, but let's continue.
Regarding DLSS 5, do you have any information regarding how much game developers can maintain artistic integrity whilst using the tech? There's been quite a negative response to the video, with concerns raised around it being quote-unquote AI slop, and a worry this might make graphics very quote-unquote samey and stifle artistic intent. I remain on the fence re this technology, but I wonder what your thoughts are on these sorts of comments. And yeah, we've got this question here from Fully Fallible. When DLSS 5 resolves detail not even found in the character model viewer of Resident Evil 9, at what point do we consider this technology damaging to the intent? If these details were quote-unquote desired, wouldn't they at least be present there? So, Alex, in the wake of our video, before it went live, you actually put together some notes and impressions and whatnot. And this concept of artistic integrity, I'm not so much sure it's about the whether the studios sign off as such, although that's clearly important because, you know, that's key to it, right?
Absolutely. But here's where it's going to get a little tricky, guys.
But at the same time, it's like the change is so dramatic in some cases. The original assets would never have been intended for that kind of presentation.
Yeah, and that was my largest technical issue with the demo. Like, so before even talking about artist integrity and vision, which I think is the
Cannoli, how are you, my friend?
The key impetus behind this specific part of this video. Like, the technical issue that I have with DLSS 5 is that essentially, since it is working on a 2D plane, yes, it is using color and motion vectors, that it has limited information about like the original model.
And that is exactly what, I don't know how deep I got into that part, but we did talk about it on the other show. I absolutely agree with this statement, man. Why in the hell would you want to just blanket a video game with a filter? And if they don't have the assets, the original assets, that's essentially what this is doing. So let's see what he says.
Detail there. You know, it's not being fed individual higher resolution versions of the like model that are offline rendered. It doesn't have the facial scans of the exact actor necessarily built into it, and trying to approach that, like, you know, asymptotic curve, trying to get there with that. Rather, it appears, based upon the kind of way it's fudging with some of the faces at times, it appears to be using a different data set, maybe a much larger data set, hence why it has the requirement of 2x 5090s to run in real time due to VRAM constraints. And this data set regarding things like human skin, eyes, whatever, you know, I get the feeling it's doing some sort of averaging there over them, while also affecting the shading and the lighting on their faces particularly. And in this case, I think for a character like Grace, in the initial shot of her...
let me just say, shouldn't have used Grace. You definitely shouldn't have used Grace. One of the worst decisions they've done, because we're just off on the heels of everybody playing the game and understanding what type of character she is. And then all of a sudden, in videos like, well, you know what? Forget about the fact that she's this quirky, nerdy looking girl. Let's make her a fucking supermodel. And everyone's like, no, we know what she looks like in the game, and this does not match up with what she should look like. Watch this. She goes from a nerdy FBI agent to a supermodel with makeup. She wouldn't wear makeup.
In the game's opening in the city street.
Dude, come on.
It's that they show off. My initial gut reaction and then permanent reaction thereafter is, this is not even the same person. And I think that is the key result most people get out of that. And then the second thing I get out of it is that I played the game quite a lot in preparation for a lot of my videos covering it. And I know that Grace, in that shot there, she is reluctantly going to the house where her mother was murdered.
Yes. Here's the point I made yesterday. Why in the fuck would Grace have makeup on to go to the house where her mom was fucking murdered? The integrity of the story and the characters is ruined using fucking AI slop.
And she is not wanting to go there. She's nervous, all these things. She's not even caring about anything other than just like getting there. And she quite obviously doesn't look like she's wearing things like makeup and whatnot. And I honestly looked at the side-by-sides here and I thought I saw evidence of, other than the facial features being completely different, I see things like evidence of mascara. I see evidence of like...
That's because AI thinks this is how a woman should look. It's not thinking how the character should look. This is NVIDIA saying all women in this tech demo need to be supermodels by applying makeup and mascara. It's fucking soulless garbage that's going to ruin the artist's integrity. Fuck off.
What appears to be like...
Like, guys, what the fuck is that? I don't want that in my future video games, NVIDIA. It's terrible. It's just absolutely nonsense.
Pursed, lipsticked lips. And, you know, like they even have like the... You know, like one thing you do with lipstick is you like put it up here to make this like kind of devil's horns, like things that her original model did not have at all. Not even regarding the fact that the face was completely different, but it's kind of like when I look at a lot of...
Dino says, I'm starting to see your point. Yeah, you're right, man. Absolutely, man. I tried to get this across yesterday, but it's about the integrity of the story and the characters that creates the universe that you play in the video game. If you randomly decide that you want to apply an AI filter to every character in a video game, they're going to look like a fucking supermodel, which ruins the integrity of that character. And that ruins the overall story and how you feel, the emotions you feel. Imagine, guys, imagine watching Schindler's List, but every woman in that show and every guy is now a supermodel. It defeats the fucking purpose in the first place. What is going on in... It makes no sense. All of a sudden, Schindler's List, every girl in that fucking movie, every woman you see on screen looks like a supermodel because NVIDIA has put DLSS 5 into the visuals. It's this... That's my argument. It's ruining everything about the integrity in a story and the character. Get real.
AI-generated features in other media.
Oh, and speaking of which, guys, it's making every female character in this tech demo look like a fucking porn star. You know, and...
Listen, use our filter to make our gritty horror game characters look glamorous hard.
That's exactly.
Isaac.
Terrible tech demo. It's embarrassing.
You see this kind of over-averaging and over-perfecting things based upon, like, presumably the training data was based upon, like, you know, certain stock images of certain types of people.
Is he about to say porn?
And so I kind of got that out of that, where the unique character model of Grace was completely gone. Ethically, I find that very problematic because the actress probably signed off on her likeness to a certain degree. And I don't find...
Absolutely. Wicked, thank you.
I partly blame the chuds and incels that have bitched over the last 10 years when any women wasn't hot in a game.
Raw Dakota, my friend, you nailed it, man. This is NVIDIA doing an absolute shit fucking demo of technology that can be utilized in gaming. However, doing it in the worst way possible. Also, thank you for the support. You just cracked the case on that one. And Wicked, thank you for pointing that one out. I appreciate the support. Thank you, buddy. It's a good take. Guys, he's right on that one. You know, they're making these women look like porn stars. It's not good for gaming.
Crimson Desert reviews are alive. Good, not great from a consensus, bland writing and story, and a lot going on. Great combat and world, a lot of bugs.
Well, we're going to play it tomorrow on the show, so we're going to find out. Thank you, Astro Zombie, for the support. We already looked up some of the reviews. Some people are saying it's 10 out of 10, best open world game ever. So, Raw Dakota says you're 30 minutes late. You're fired.
I find that very good to do to someone's acting performance, just like I find, and just like in terms of taste, George Lucas messing with the prequels pisses me off. Messing with the originals, pisses me off. So like, there's things like that where I say, like, on a technical level, I think the inconsistency with faces and what it's doing to faces in certain scenes is actually the sign of a technical failing. And then on the other level,
I agree absolutely wholeheartedly.
I kind of feel like there's great ethical problems with going over it, even if the studio signed off on it. It's not, we've talked about it a lot on DF Direct before, but.
This is my exact point from 2 days ago when we saw this technology. There's an ethical problem in this, and he'll explain more, but I talked about it already.
Just because producers and, game owners and publishers sign off on something doesn't mean the entire team was on board, specifically the artist team who maybe created these character models or these environments. So I feel like I do actually feel like this does in some ways trample on vision in a very hardcore way that we haven't ever seen before from anything from DLSS, mainly because they were machine learning techniques about helping aspects of the maths. And here it's more like doing the entire scene over again.
Yeah, which, again, that's what we have problems with.
In a lot of ways, which is so new and so radically different.
Oliver, what do you make of this?
Well, with regards to Grace in particular, I think that's a legitimate problem. And the fact that they led with Grace, I thought it was fairly provocative in terms of the introduction at GTC from Jensen Huang, and also in terms of the presentation to us. They led with that Grace face, and my immediate thought was that looks a little bit different than what I remember from Grace, even in the path traced version of Resident Evil 9. There are some NPCs that do look quite a bit better, and maybe you have less familiarity with how they look normally, like, random NPCs on a bench in Starfield or couch-bound NPCs in Hogwarts Legacy. But the kind of yassified Grace face,
Sip in the chat says, why make graphics when you could just generate them?
That's so promising there. And it seems to reveal a weakness of this approach, or maybe the facial likeness is lost in certain situations, certain lighting. Again, it does not have very many inputs from the game engine. It does not have very many inputs from the game, so perhaps.
Which we said yesterday, and apparently, people were shitting on me saying that that's not how that works. That's exactly how it works. It's a fucking AI filter. I don't know what to say about it. It's an AI garbage filter.
Get used to it. Art is dead. Studios cooked. Nvidia will not need them soon. This is just the start. Happened in the dev world too.
Wait a minute. Why is Winnie the Pooh from a European country? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why is Winnie the Pooh sound like he's Russian? Wait, we gotta hear it again. There's no reason for him to be Italian.
Listen, boomers, get used to it. Art is dead. Studios cooked. Nvidia will not need them soon. This is just the start. Happened in the dev world too.
Wait a minute. Winnie the Pooh was Russian for no reason. And now he's English. What the fuck is that? He was Russian, or let's do it one more time. Why was he Spanish?
Listen, boomers, get used to it. Art is dead, studio.
He was fucking Russian. Okay, you know what? I don't care if I lose viewership for this. We're rolling this back because Winnie the Pooh was Russian. Unless I'm losing my mind. Hang on. We're going back in time. We're going back. I don't give a shit. We're going back. I don't give.
Thought was in certain situations, certain
Hang on, I gotta
lighting.
find it.
Again, it does not have very many inputs from the game engine. It does not have very many inputs from the game engine. It does not have very many inputs from the game, so perhaps.
Which we said yesterday, and apparently, people were shitting on me saying that that's not how that works. That's exactly how it works. It's a fucking AI filter. Okay, here we go. Russian Winnie the Pooh. I don't know what to say about it. It's an
Listen,
AI garbage
boomers,
filter.
get used to it. Art is dead. Studios cooked. Nvidia will not need them soon. This is just the start. Happened in the dev world too.
Why is Winnie the Pooh? Why is Winnie the Pooh from Spain? Why is Winnie the Pooh from Spain? Can anybody figure that out? Dude, I'm using AI technology. This is an example of why you don't use AI, but why you use AI. Holy shit. Oh my God. I have never laughed that hard. The Winnie the Pooh's Russian, guys.
Perhaps it really is just inferring these details from a fairly limited slice of data there. It's the same problem that I think we saw with RTX neural faces a few years back, where you can improve the face's depiction in some ways, but almost lose...
It's fucking... It's foreign Winnie the Pooh.
Fidelity to itself. And I noticed that with Grace. With other faces in this demo, I think the results are more mixed. Like some of the characters in Starfield, at least in some shots, look pretty similar. Like that Sarah character looked reasonably similar, although absurdly realistic and high fidelity relative to her old portrayal, and kind of arguably a little bit AI-like. Other characters did not look so similar to their prior depictions, or there were other kinds of changes in lighting that betrayed different, deeper kinds of differences and potentially issues with that as well.
I agree.
But I mean, ultimately, I think that this is a first generation model. It does seem to produce fairly similar results across a range of games. That's a problem, but I'd hope that, you know, again, if artists are signing off on this, if there are...
Now, this is exactly what they should have done for the first video. Do you guys realize what has happened in the last 2 days? Digital Foundry has lost its integrity.
Look here, don't make fun of my accent.
Guys, oh God, Winnie the Pooh's derailing my stream now. Thank you, ones. I appreciate the support. Guys, do you see what's happened to Digital Foundry? They made a video shilling for AI, and then 2 days later made the proper video saying that we should have waited.
DLSS 5 scenes look like AI moving photos.
Exactly. Astro Zombie, thank you for the support. Dude, this is like insane to see Digital Foundry misstep like this. It's insane.
Efficient controls. I mean, it does not sound like there are a whole lot of controls, to be honest, in this first generation
Check
model.
our Discord.
There's, you know, intensity,
DMs
color grading.
for funny accent.
Oh no.
However many inputs from the game, so perhaps.
Which we said yesterday, and apparently, you know, people works. It's a fucking AI filter. It's an AI garbage filter. Listen to this.
Get used to it. Art is dead. Studios cooked. Nvidia will not need them soon. This is just the start.
Why is Winnie the Pooh from fucking Spain?
Masking. So, you know, you could, for instance, I presume that Capcom will be doing something along these lines. You could mask out Grace and say, hey, you know, no DLSS 5 on Grace, or...
So now, so this is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of the stream. By the way, look at Richard on the left there. He's going to fucking kill somebody. Anyways, Banshee, thank you for that. International Winnie the Pooh. But guys, this is like insane to see Digital Foundry make a misstep like this. Now, do I forgive them? Yeah, but I mean, some of the statements they've made are pretty scary. Like at the beginning of this video, Richard is essentially admitting that they should have waited to see if people liked it or hated it before they made their video, which is a massive red flag if you're a journalist. That's like saying, I should have looked into if people really liked this or really disliked it so I could skew our content to be favorable without having to speak our actual minds. So what we saw 2 days ago was Digital Foundry speaking their minds and saying, we like this technology, it looks great, it's amazing. And then everyone shits on them. 2 days later, they're like, yeah, it's terrible. It's just insane that they're backtracking like this, man. Never seen it on Digital Foundry.
Minimum DLSS 5 on Grace or whatever tuning seems appropriate. But in terms of actually changing the stylistic aim from like photorealism to a different kind of aim, that...
John Bain is in the chat, the legendary John Bain. Thank you. If you guys don't know about John Bain, he's the guy that always gifts us games on this show. He's gifted like 6. He's absolutely insane. Thank you, John. You're known as the game giver. I'm going to give you something.
Does not appear to be something that you could necessarily do with this model. So yeah, I think artistic intent, it's a big wide open question. Obviously,
D, have a good night. Thank you for saying that this is a drama video when you just... D, why are you against different opinions, D? Relax, your anus.
Congratulations. So studio heads are signing off on it. That implies some level of consent, and that implies some level of, authoritative approval over this. But also, it does not necessarily respect the artists who might be involved. Or in this case, I don't think it's a full facial capture of the actress. I think they're using a separate person for the facial capture and a separate person for the actual performance. So a little bit more of a muted question there. But in general, I think these are very legitimate problems, and I think.
Okay, so he's now saying they're problems, which is okay. I mean, they needed more time to think about it, but that first video was just like, we love this technology.
DLSS 5, when it works well, it works very well in some areas. When it comes to environmental lighting, it works.
Absolutely. Totally agree with this statement.
Perhaps less well when it comes to these character portrayals, which look very different, and in some cases uncannily different from their original source material.
Yeah, I mean... this is an interesting one. I think if they'd been leading with environmental stuff, then it would have been a completely different story in terms of the reception. But
oh, man. Remember, I used to talk about this on the show a lot. I used to talk about perception. Do you guys realize the word perception is one of the most powerful things in life, the perception of something? If NVIDIA led with environmental effects only with DLSS 5, the perception of this technology would have been less harsh because humans know what things are supposed to look like, and this environment off versus on looks incredible. I'm not going to lie, it looks amazing. Watch.
Leading with the facial stuff where the human eye is
look at the foliage. It looks incredible.
It's really trained to sort of detect consistency and authenticity. When you've got this filter running, when you've got this algorithm running, it's causing some issues there. I think it is relatively successful though in the Starfield ones, mostly down to the fact that the original shading was mostly flat. And I do think there is some improvement there. And obviously Todd Howard's all in on that particular one.
By the way, Todd Howard being all in on this AI slop says a lot about Bethesda.
Hogwarts, not entirely sure about that one, but the actual demo itself is pretty good. And I think that's something that we couldn't really talk about or show really in the demo. The stuff that we kind of wanted to show was all off screen, which presented issues off its own because some of the environmental stuff that's going on there is really, really quite special. I think the other thing which I think is quite interesting about this is that I'm seeing this as like a neural network representing NVIDIA's vision for photorealistic graphics maybe 1 or 2 generations down the line, right? And
hear what he just said? He's also seeing a future where unfortunately we're going to cloud computing and machine learning and AI to achieve graphics that these graphics cards will not be able to achieve. Because remember, they don't want you to have the graphics card in your house. NVIDIA is no longer a graphics card company, in my opinion. They're going the other way. Is this going to play? Or Alan Jones, you're fired. You're fired! Thank you, Astro. I appreciate the support. Guys, thanks for the support today. If you want to support... What are we at? We're at 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. We're at 5 gifted memberships. Thank you for that. Let's continue the video. I appreciate you guys giving me support while I try to do something new on the show.
The problem is that applies only to the lighting. So everything else within the scene.
Oh, God damn it. Rod Dakota has gifted a membership. Thank you for supporting this. I appreciate it. Support is very low. We're going to have to... there's no more chill, relaxing vibes today.
Is basically of this generation that's kind of like being shoehorned into that model. So it's kind of like almost like a clash of 2 different eras of technology, a representation of
John Bain, what is this? We got a train happening almost. John Bain, I appreciate your support, my friend. Thank you very much for that. I hope you're having a good time. Hopefully you're going to enjoy some Crimson Desert, even though it's getting 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, some 6 out of 10s, lots of 8 out of 10s. I'm going to be playing it on the show tomorrow, guys, so tune in tomorrow for Crimson Desert PC Edition tomorrow on the show.
Era to come, possibly, and what we've got today kind of reminded almost of Metal Gear Solid Delta in that regard, where, you know, it plays like a...
Jess in the chat says, how's the movie Undertone? Been wanting to see it. I have a review of that up on my Instagram, and I think I put it maybe on Twitter.
John Linneman is hiding in Dreamcast guy's closet.
I think John Letterman and John Letterman. It's Letterbelly. What's his name? God damn it!
Keep coming.
Keep railing.
Anyways, if you guys want to see Undertow, it's pretty good. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's not going to blow your socks off. Lots of unanswered questions in that horror movie. It's worth watching in the theater, though. Let's continue the video.
Like a PS2 game, but it looks like a PS5 game. There's a kind of weird disconnect to it. We've got this question here from, what could I say, exclamation point. What are your thoughts on the ethics morality of DLSS 5? This leads into a sort of wider question, because we've had a lot of developer feedback. I mean, there's been a lot of developer feedback online, developer feedback coming back to us. And it's kind of like, is this the right time to be talking about this sort of stuff when the industry is in turmoil, when there's a lot of jobs being lost, that kind of thing? What I will say is that the nature of DLSS 5 is that it cannot be a replacement for what game developers are creating. It can only work with what they're creating, and the higher the quality of the stuff that goes into DLSS 5, NVIDIA reckon the higher the quality of the output side. I'm not entirely sure I agree with that based on Starfield, but that's...
That's exactly what I was going to say. Based on Starfield, we're talking about technology that should have been advanced by Bethesda itself, and this is the exact point I made yesterday. Lazy development will now equal people using this as a crutch to make their characters look better in lighting environments. Hence, Todd Howard and Bethesda super excited because they're terrible at character design to a certain degree. And I know that everybody in chat will agree with that statement.
That's what they're saying. But it's a harsh time in the industry, Alex, and to actually have, you know, the biggest AI company in the world producing demonstrations which are taking their work and presumably using it as a selling point for RTX GPUs, it's going to cause problems with the people making the actual games, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, just imagine, like, I didn't have any particular love of the NPCs in Starfield, and I'm pretty sure I've said that elsewhere in other, you know, like social media and whatnot. But say you take that and, you know, you see someone running this model over it, I think what you kind of feel is like, oh, it wasn't good enough back then. What's the point of my job? You know, will a producer at some point say, produce, you know, less? Let's use this generic model here and allow a targeted DLSS 5 like program improve it. We need less character modelers. We need less quality work. We'll farm it off to a production house in Southeast Asia.
Ladies and gentlemen, exactly what I said 2 days ago. The fact that Bethesda, and there's something else I'm going to scare you with. Watch this. Here we go. Capcom has announced that it's going to increase its focus on PCs because PC gamers are now 50% of sales of new games from Capcom. So if you're worried that Capcom's going to rely on this, guess what? That's part of the fucking plan. That's why I'm so against this. Capcom, we're not blind. Even though you've given us amazing games over the last couple of, years, I'm not blind to this. I see what's happening. Capcom is going to fire developers so they can utilize this terrible technology in the future. There's no doubt about it. And they signed off on grace. So congratulations. You know, you made the best Resident Evil game since Resident Evil 2, but you're tainting it now, just like my taint. It's exactly what I was saying.
And just run DLSS 5 over it. I mean, we live in an economy where the lowest rent sometimes is the bottom dollar, to use all these phrases together. Like they will seek the lowest rent.
And Capcom is already doing that.
Possible, certain people, and DLSS 5 could be an extreme enabling factor for that. I don't think, though, at least in the immediate future, on a technical level, it is completely as dangerous, just because the demo was limited to very high-end hardware and had huge negative viewer backlash from my standpoint, and also still showcase large technical deficits that were off-putting enough that it was this controversial. I think if it wasn't off-putting, like other things we've seen in the past, maybe people wouldn't care as much, but it was off-putting to so many people that I think that there may actually be a bit of NVIDIA going to the drawing board here, or developers reconsidering this, kind of like we've seen in the past with regards to things like the unlaunching of the original 4080, I believe it was, or, the semi-unlaunching of the Xbox One's original intended message.
Uh-oh. Metal Jesus is here.
Who do you think is keeping Wall Street afloat with the AI investments? The Saudis who just purchased big stake in Capcom.
Oh, yeah. You want to get into the deep side of that. It gets pretty fucking deep, which we're not going to even get into in here. But yes, Saudi Arabia just bought a giant chunk of Capcom. If you guys want to do research on that on your own after the stream, trust me, you're going to want to look into that as well. And it's not good news.
Because I do think this was so highly, there's my perspective is just I only saw brute negativity across the board. And I think that is also going to be one of the slowdowns to adoption here.
Thank God.
Oliver?
Yeah, I mean, I would worry maybe at some point about developers over relying on these techniques, but...
What do you mean at some point? Todd Howard and Bethesda literally are relying on this technology only to make their characters look better. They have not said a single thing about upgrading the characters in Starfield. It's cut and paste. It's cut dry. There's no debate here. He's saying, oh, it's going to happen. It's happened. Starfield is the example. I don't understand why he's not saying that. Starfield is going to rely on this for the next 10 years of development. If they keep putting the game out on next gen, which they will, they're not going to fix the models. They're going to simply use DLSS on NVIDIA chips. That's it. They're not fixing it.
You know, you also have to think just about, I mean, it's very hard, you know, within our current economic system to really think these things through in an abstract way.
Tim, stop driving, pull your car over, and look at my ass.
But obviously, you know, attention that isn't spent on lighting could be spent on other areas of game development and could be spent on simulation. And like
By the way, developers already announced that they're focusing their efforts on more streamlined games coming out and updating past PC games due to the RAM shortage. That is a huge deal as well. People can't afford RAM. And as you guys know, developers like to just sit back and release buggy games, inefficient games. It's just getting to a point where they have to backtrack development on certain games because people don't have enough RAM in their computers to be able to run them. Dedicated RAM. It's over. So when you talk about old school PC games and the efficiency of them. And I'm talking about compression in assets. I'm talking about how I'm talking about many different things, but I'm essentially talking about the way Bethesda can release a game that is just absolutely, completely full of RAM leaks, errors in the code, laziness across the board, assets with poor compression, all of those things. They could rely on the extra RAM in these high-end PCs taking care of those issues. Well, no longer can they do that. They're foreseeing a future where getting RAM in your computer is going to be extremely difficult and expensive. So that's a whole other aspect to this.
Different kinds of tasks, different kinds of areas that would be maybe exposed.
You know, they're saying that they have to go back and optimize their games right now because they're worried in the next 5 to 10 years people won't have enough RAM to run them. So they actually have to do real work on optimization. It's insane we're getting to this.
By a model that just has a very keen
It's
understanding.
not a short in RAM. It's a hoarding prioritize.
Why is he now English? Why is he English? Winnie the Pooh was just English. Hill Phantom, what are you doing to my Winnie the Pooh?
It's not a short in RAM. It's a hoarding prioritizing.
Okay, he sound better there. And also, I agree with you. It doesn't matter. The price of RAM is through the roof. It's going to remain that way.
A very fine understanding of what makes photorealistic lighting. You could do all kinds of other things within game development that would be very important as well. So I think it's important not to discount that. Obviously, there would be an effect elsewhere, though, and I'm very sympathetic to that. Obviously, you have to be very sympathetic to that. But I mean, in the current form, at least, you get the best results according to NVIDIA, and I think we actually did see some evidence of this, that you get the best results with really high-quality assets, with ray tracing, with path tracing, throw all those things in the mix. You know, we saw all kinds of errors in Starfield where it's like the model is trying to infer like almost neural screen space reflections in the mix, because it's so dependent on screen space, so dependent on what's in the view. As soon as that object falls out of screen space, you're losing the reflection. That's not a problem in a game like Assassin's Creed Shadows, for instance, which has a better representation of those kinds of lighting phenomena. So I think there is still definitely a case to say, hey, you want to produce the highest quality version of the game that you can produce, and then maybe this model will take it to the next level. In terms of actually relying on that, I find it hard to see developers relying on it too much. In particular, because like Alex pointed out, it's very high-end hardware. It's also only NVIDIA hardware. It's also only PC. And it's also not out yet. So it's like there's so many levels of this where it's like you.
Yeah, but just because something's not out yet, we can have a voice and we can make sure we don't get to a point where it's jammed down our throats.
Could never ship a game that relied on this fully. There would be so many different, and I mean, this creates all kinds of quagmires for.
Of course it's going to cause issues.
If you look closely, you can see a 6.7 clock reflection.
Oh my!
Oh God, Nightbreaker, thank you. You're a lunatic.
Rich, prioritize shipping me several dozen cucumbers in Phil's bath water.
Well, you failed on that one, Phoenix. Thanks for the $5. You're fired.
You're fired. All kinds of quagmires, people who are.
Joking aside, I appreciate the support, man. I don't know who Rich is. I've never heard of him, so let me know. I don't know who you're talking about. Rich who? Richard Ledbetter?
Trying to ship a consistent look in a game across platforms. Obviously, we know how important that is. That's why games like Doom: The Dark Ages ship ray tracing across all their platforms, all their supported platforms, because I think it's so important to have a consistent visual look,
Yeah, Phoenix says me neither.
Congratulations.
Oh my!
lighting look across platforms, and reconciling that with this is a lot harder, I'd have to say. So yeah, I do think that those are real issues that need to be worked through and are legitimate.
I think from my perspective, it's not DLSS 5 that's the problem for all of the reasons that you've pointed.
Conrad, what's up? Yes. They were backing it yesterday, not today. Here we go.
For Phoenix, since he robbed himself.
Absolutely prioritize shipping me several dozen cucumbers in Phil's bathwater.
Wait a second. Why are you so nice? Why is one's 2 cents so nice? That is ridiculous. He's a nice gentleman. He's a good-looking man. I can't believe he did that. Thank you, ones. This is for you.
Mamja.
Oh my!
That guy's gay. Thank you.
Oliver, it's basically the fear of what it represents, the stuff that is to come.
Right.
But at the same time,
That's exactly what I'm saying. The fear of what's to come. If we don't speak up now, they're going to shove this down our throats.
because
Rain, what's up, dude?
Let's face facts. We know what the specs of the next generation consoles are. We know what's happening with RDNA 5. We know what's happening with Blackwell and presumably RTX 60 series when that comes along. It's all about the bump in shaders will be fewer. The increases will come from ray tracing technology and machine learning. I mean, literally everybody is on the record now as pointing that out. Mark Cerny, for example. So, the concept of having a new...
Yup, you got it. Follow crumbs. Render at Nvidia. Keep your social score high is my best advice.
Yeah. Rain, how are you, buddy? Yes, this is fucked up. Thank you, Hill Phantom. I appreciate the support. Guys, seriously, thank you for all the super chats today. I appreciate it. We're at 7 gifted members. Thank you for that as well. If you really want to help out the show, the memberships are the way. I'm trying to get to 700 again. We're at 550-ish, so we're 150 away. Is that how you do math? Yes. So thank you, guys. Hill Phantom, I appreciate it too. Yeah, dude. I mean, the crumbs are starting to show. You know what I mean? So if you follow the crumbs, you've got Capcom signing off. Oh, thank you. Thank you, man. Hang on, let me add
This
that
old
in.
man looked like he got caught masturbating.
Why does he sound like that? Who, me? I masturbated twice before the show started. I did. I'm not going to lie. I thought about some things. I thought about some things. I released loads. What are you going to do about it?
Or network-based vendor, or at least partly part of the game engine.
Impending Doom, thank you, my friend. Did I add that in there? I'm having a stroke. Yes, we're at 8 members now. Let's continue your breasts.
I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when, but it's still going to need human inputs. I don't think it's going to be a kind of one-size-fits-all solution to getting a great-looking game. And I guess there's similar things.
But that's what you praised yesterday. A one-size-fits-all solution to make all the games look better. You guys praised this technology, and now today you guys are saying it's not what we thought. So yes, I'm shitting on them a little bit here. I still respect them, but I'm allowed to have my opinion on this. What you said at the beginning of this video is what I have issue with. Saying that you should wait for the audience's opinion before you make yours. What is that telling your audience?
As well, if you're looking at the amount of
Well, I'll tell you. Remember what influence does in the gaming community. I have something to show you about influence.
If you truly love video games like I do, this moment is for all of us.
Exactly. Sometimes influence can go really bad. Really, really bad. High guard, anybody?
Technology that's packed into Unreal Engine 5 that's basically given away for free. All manner of different
Comrade Casper, how are you, my friend?
tools can either be enabling or they can lead to job losses because, a lot of the heavy lifting is being done for you. So, yeah, this is just the beginning, really. Let's move on to this.
Oh, by the way, PlayStation 5 is refunding every single cent that was spent on High Guard. I believe that's a PlayStation statement. I don't know if High Guard Studio is returning the money, but that's worth pointing out. And that's official. It's been proven. If you bought anything from High Guard on PlayStation 5, you get a refund, which is a good step. you know, remember what I talked about earlier, perception. These game companies want good perception. So if Sony's giving $5 back to somebody, that's good perception. Because, you know, remember, perception can be illusions.
Question from Frame Time Sommelier. Hi DF crew, exclamation point. Bit confused about DLSS 5. What was NVIDIA's reason to show it now? It's a fair point. I mean, we've not even got 4.5 dynamic frame gen yet. Why not showing it when it is ready and about to be launched, like with all the other DLSS tech in the past? The tech is very interesting, but I notice that the reception from average gamers is not that great. The discourse is mostly about the fact it runs on two 5090s, and people call it a fancy Instagram filter. Just quickly there, they've spent 3 years working on this, and
3 years? Oh my God.
They're in the optimization phase. If it comes to the point where you're going to not be able to run it without the use of two GPUs, I don't think it would ship. I don't think it would ship at all. And they've already said they're going to be producing a version that runs on one GPU. I think this was just like a performance thing, to be honest. We did ask about scalability with DLSS 5, and they said it's basically exactly the same as other DLSS. It scales with resolution. So the lower the resolution goes, the easier it gets. I'm not, I think I don't know why they showed it now, to be honest. It's kind of weird to do it at GTC, which hasn't typically been a consumer-facing event. So I was surprised when we found out about that.
I think it is a really big and flashy item to lead GTC with, as Jensen did. And also he wanted to flag this as like the future of graphics rendering, and
Oh, God. Did you hear what he just said? NVIDIA released this video because they want to flag it as the future of rendering. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. If you were a PC guy from back in the day, man, the time of building a PC is coming to an end. You'll be able to, but it'll be extremely expensive. The future of gaming, whether you like it or not, is having an adjusted box at your house that potentially you can build and customize, but to have the sheer processing power in your living room is going to dwindle over time. They want to take that away from you, just like they want to take the data away from you. They don't want you to have the games physically in your house. They want you to stream the data in a secured manner. It's about ownership. It's all of this is about ownership. All of it. So that's it. There's no fucking debate about it. Game key cards, that's my that's me. I'm never buying a game key card, and people are like, Jay, that's silly, you buy digital. The point is, the game key card is the last physical remnant that I'm going to purchase. Or sorry, not purchase. You know? I'm not purchasing a game key card because it signals the end of physically owning your data. Good luck to you guys in the future. Some people are going to accept this future and be like, I don't give a shit. I'm full in on the data. Let NVIDIA control our games. Let Xbox control our games. Nintendo, control everything over there. I physically don't need to own this anymore. That's what you're saying if you just accept a digital future, and that's okay. That's where we're headed. We're not going to be able to escape it.
Wanted to tie it in this big flashy new graphics announcement with what they're doing with like.
By the way, this goes out to Terrence. Okay, let's go.
Structured databases and semantic context and all these other things that exist in an enterprise context that are not so sexy, but when you tie them up with like something that looks like a crazy game render from the future, all of a sudden you are showing off something that's sexy. I also think that it might need, it just needs more developer integration than prior versions of DLSS. It needs more artist time. It needs more work, and it's at more risk of leaking because if you're disseminating this amongst a bunch of different studios, a lot of people are going to have their hands on this, I'd have to assume. And yeah, that's also going to be the case. And I also just tend to think that, NVIDIA, they really put it out front and center. They didn't, like, it is an optional option.
Guys, it's not about the option, about being able to use it or not. It's about the fact that developers can rely on this technology to be lazier, more efficient, which is what they want, which means more layoffs. That's what we get at here. Would you guys rather have a game made completely by humans with passion and insight into the world surrounding them in an adventure open world game, or would you rather have AI just collect data based on what it thinks is the best for you? Which one would you want?
Nailed it. The push is 100% cloud and dumb clients. Easier to track to, so they take the RAM. Real ops man. Consolidate power.
Divide access. Absolutely. That's what this is about. This is about taking your right to build a PC away from you.
If you want to own your games, just pirate wink.
Well, don't do that. I don't stand by that. Don't steal from the developers just because NVIDIA and, is pissing you off. Thank you, Hill Phantom. Absolutely agree, man. That's what's happening right now. Robert, what's up, dude? And R2 brother, appreciate the support. Do not steal from developers.
Here, but they didn't present it that way. Like if it was just presented as, oh, here's something that's like RTX neural lighting or something. Here's an option, or here's a little tweak. Because people don't get that upset about RTX Remix or HDR mods or reshade plugins that can dramatically change game appearances. But in this case, it's presented not just as something that NVIDIA thinks is important to the future of graphics, but as DLSS 5, which almost suggests it's not quite optional, even though it is optional on paper. In practice, the way that it's presented suggests, it suggests something else entirely. So yeah, that's just my feeling on that. I think that's kind of the way that NVIDIA presented this was maybe not the way you'd present this if you were trying to create less of a splash.
I agree.
It's definitely provocative to call it DLSS at all, bearing in mind what DLSS has previously stood for, which is basically super sampling in one dimension or another.
He just said it. This has no right to be called DLSS. It has nothing to do with what they're trying to attach it to. And that's because perception. They're trying to give you the perception that this technology is DLSS. It has nothing to do with DLSS. He's going to explain right now what DLSS is. I'm
not sure what the super sampling is here, but it is an evolution of machine learning technology. But Alex, the power of the brand. I mean, DLSS is basically now such a fundamentally attractive feature to so many people. Do you think that it actually is a very provocative move to call it DLSS?
I mean, on some level, so there's a lot to say here. So DLSS in the past has meant many things. I would say it has originally meant that like super resolution feature, and it kind of was that with DLSS 1 in a way. And then DLSS 2 was a different way to do a similar problem, like the same problem, change it the way you solve it. But then FrameGen came out and it was named 3. And at the time, we were also a bit like, why is this even called DLSS? The brand was so powerful at that point in time that you could attach optional features to it. And because that's what they are. They don't usually turn on all at once, and they really shouldn't. So I think that was a learning lesson there for NVIDIA that, yes, the DLSS brand is an encompassing suite of optional technologies people can take advantage of in their games. Some used maybe more than others, and some loved more than others. But then attaching this to it, which is, I would also argue, fundamentally different on a lot of ways than even frame generation or super resolution is, does have a bit of brand tainting because DLSS was, for the longest period of time, not clowned on and really actually liked a lot.
Yeah. What did you do? NVIDIA. DLSS now is such a bad name. You know, it's like, again, talk about perception. You've now changed the perception of what DLSS is, and over 50%, or at least 50% of the people out there hate what you've shown. So let me ask this. Anybody in the chat still like DLSS 5? And I know why. I think we're going to get to it in the video. It's still compelling, but not with the AI slop we've seen.
And probably was one of the main reasons why people would buy an RTX GPU. I can imagine, like, DLSS looks that good. And here, that the first impression for a lot of people isn't this, I can't believe it's running at 540p. I think a lot of people is like, you know, they're like, that's not Grace. I'm also a little bit interested why this is the direction that DLSS goes in so quickly. Because I maybe because it'll evolve better over time. There'll be more iteration time for it as when it's out in the open and they find the issues and all the problems with it. But also, I actually originally thought that, you know, DLSS would evolve in a very different way that we'll probably talk about a little bit later in the video. But here, man, beyond the ethical quandaries and the visual issues and the fact that I don't like generative AI at all. Yeah, this is, I do feel like it is a super strong.
By the way, the guy in the middle there absolutely hates generative AI because he considers it piracy. So just to give you context, he's the guy on the team that should have reviewed this in the first place. He wasn't there for the tech demo. He should be on all AI moving forward because his opinion will be real.
And not the best way to use the DLSS brand in a lot of ways.
Okay, fair enough.
Richard doesn't seem to agree. Okay.
Obviously, it's a research and development thing that was going to happen anyway because, you know, we can cite the interview with Tom Peterson that we did in Berlin, Alex, where he was talking about this, along with Fame Generation before Fame Generation came out. And then we can cite the interview that you guys did at CES last year, I believe, with Brian Catanzaro, where he was basically hinting very heavily about this.
Guys, remember perception? I'm going down the theory hole here, okay? Richard seems to be against bashing AI. That statement the guy in the middle just made, Rich didn't like that. Rich did not like that statement. Remember at the beginning of the video, he also said we should have paid attention to the audience's perception of this technology before we gave our opinion. This video's making them look really fucking bad, in my opinion. Like, we're talking levels of, you know, maybe we have to go back in time and see Richard's opinion on all of this stuff to see if it fits in line with the patterns of the perception that he's giving off here. Because he's leading me to believe that he is saying certain things because he wants to stay in the, I wouldn't say the pockets, because I doubt they're getting paid. Let's not stretch the conspiracy that far. But if you want to be Digital Foundry, you better not diss whatsoever anything AI coming out of the company. That's just my theory. Am I wrong to assume that a little bit? What do you guys think in the chat about my assumption there? And again, it's just my theory. There's no validity to it. I'm not saying that Richard's a sellout to NVIDIA, but I am saying that his perception to AI is a little weird. Also, the way he shuns that guy's opinion instantly on AI is very telling of how he feels on AI without him saying it directly. Am I wrong about this? Let me know in the chat, am I wrong about what I am saying right now? Richard seems to be a little skewed to liking AI for a reason, and we don't know the reason. Like, it's almost like he's not having a lot of fun. Watch.
I mean, obviously, it's a research and development thing last year.
And a lot for it is when way that we'll probably talk about a little bit later in the video. But here, man, beyond the ethical quandaries and the visual issues.
Now, Richard also doesn't say he agrees. Watch this.
And the fact that I don't like generative AI at all.
Look at Richard on the left there.
Yeah, this is, I do feel like it is a super strong and not the best way to use the DLSS brand in a lot of ways.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
dude, that fucking reaction is almost a reaction of like, what the fuck are you saying? You're biting the hand that feeds us. Tell me I'm wrong. I know human emotion. And tell me I'm wrong that that's not what he's thinking there. He's like, will you shut the fuck up? That's the attitude that comes out of that. He absolutely swipes the guy's opinion away. Am I wrong about this? Let's watch it again. What? It's just, dude, this is why I like to do this. Watch this. This guy in the center is shitting all over AI. He's saying, we don't want this future, blah, blah, blah. And watch Richard's reaction right now.
Wrong and not the best way to use the DLSS brand in a lot of ways.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
why the nervous laugh? Why is there a nervous laugh there and no agreement? Dude, I'm telling you, in his head, he's like, NVIDIA's gonna cook us. Like, or something. Allegedly, he's thinking something about that statement's not right. Like, he's not agreeing with him, and he's got a nervous laugh. Dude, guys, it's all perception again. It's all about human emotion. He's not reacting properly to that statement. He's got his opinion on AI. He loves it. So let's see more based on my my thought process here. Is he brainwashed?
I mean, obviously, it's a research and development thing that was...
And then obviously, the first thing he goes to is not to say that he agrees. It's not to change the subject. It's to defend his stance on AI. He's defending his piss take on AI. Look.
Going to happen anyway because, you know, we can cite the interview with...
First thing he says right away. Well, it's obviously research and development. Like, you know, it's just... We got to wait on this one. We can't... I can't believe you just shit on AI. Like, that dude, that's his attitude. Tell me I'm wrong.
Tom Peterson that we did in Berlin, Alex, where he was talking about this, along with famed
Oh, and by the way, he's also like, hey, get my buddy who also loves AI from the last video in on this so we can gang up on the guy in the middle. Tell me I'm wrong.
Generation before famed Generation came out. And then we can cite the interview that you guys did at CES last year, I believe, with Brian Catanzaro, where he was basically hinting very heavily about this. So the direction of travel is that this is actually going to happen.
So stop talking shit about it, because at Digital Foundry, you know, we need to be able to talk to these things, but we can't shit all over them. Remember how excited we were? We can't do that. We got to be
Rich's
excited.
inner thoughts. I need a hitman for this guy.
One way or another.
Yeah, Nightbreaker, I agree.
From whoever wants.
Oh, guys, if the guy in the middle gets laid off in the next 6 months or leaves the company, then my theory is 100% true.
To do it. So is, you know, I guess my sort of point here is, could it have been introduced under something a bit more experimental as opposed to a major milestone in a what's effectively becoming a standard technology?
Probably.
Notice how he doesn't answer that yet?
I'd agree with that.
Okay.
So Richard doesn't even answer the question that he asked. Should they have done a different demo? And he gets the guy, guys, I'm on a conspiracy here. He gets the guy in the middle to be thrown under the bus by saying yes. He doesn't answer it. Let's go back. He asks the question, but doesn't answer it?
So is, you know, I guess my sort of point here is, could it have been...
Oh, remember perception. He doesn't want us to hate him anymore because he already made a mistake by talking about how excited he was about AI. So his perception in this video is to play it safe as much as possible, so he throws the guy under the bus in the middle. Tell me I'm wrong.
Introduced under something a bit more experimental as opposed to a major milestone in a what's effectively becoming a standard technology?
Probably.
He doesn't answer it.
Probably.
Who does? Who says yes? They shouldn't have done this. The guy in the middle. Guys, tell me I'm wrong.
I'd agree with that.
Okay, so let's quickly talk about some of the technical reactions
And then they don't even, he doesn't even elaborate to the, like, dude, I'm telling you.
that we've got here, because we didn't talk about everything in the short amount of time that we had in the video that we did before. And Alex, you've been putting some notes together as well. Oliver, I'm going to come to you first here, because I don't know, it's really interesting that, you know, you're seeing people, respected commentators.
Hang on. Hang on a second.
It's a move to play both sides of the coin.
Absolutely. Guys, what's the guy's name in the middle? What's his name? I keep forgetting his name. What's his name again? Alex, what's his full name? Did he go online and talk shit yesterday? Because I know that somebody's against AI here. Is it John? John's not here, though. So it's like, I got to look into that.
An analyst like Ryan Schrout, who had the same demo that we had, reacting in a similarly positive way that we.
So do we know, guys, do we know who is, oh, that's John Linnerman. Yeah, John I love. He's against it. The guy in the middle's against it. Did you see what John Linnerman said? He went off. He was like, what the fuck is this? He was pissed off. I don't know if you guys saw that he deleted it now.
He did. And then you're sort of seeing the assets online, as Alex would say, being clowned on. The assets weren't fully...
Guys, here we go. Remember what I said, perception. So John over here, pay attention to what the perception is. Forget about what he's saying to a degree for a second here. Well, I'll obviously pay attention to what he's saying. What I'm getting at is, think about what he is saying and the perception of what he wants Digital Foundry to have after what he says. And think about what each of them are doing in this. So let's see how many times he puts it down, but then backtracks.
Oliver, I'm going to come to you first here, because I don't know.
I'd agree with that.
Okay, so let's quickly talk about some of the technical reactions that we've got here, because we didn't talk about everything in the short amount of time that we had in the video that we did before. And Alex, you've been putting some notes together as well. Oliver, I'm going to come to you first here, because I don't know, it's really interesting that, you know, you're seeing people, respected commentators and analysts like Ryan Schrout, who had the same demo that we had, reacting in a similarly positive way that we did. And then you're sort of seeing the assets online, as Alex would say, being clowned on. The assets weren't fully representative of what's going on there. And I think the
assets aren't fully representing what's going on. Then why did you show it? Aren't the assets supposed to fully represent what NVIDIA is trying to show us? Why is he putting this under the rug?
Concept of this neural network providing a drive to quote unquote photorealism kind of makes sense in the flesh, but it doesn't in the stuff that we've had to show.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that this is a really complicated thing, but like walking out of the demos, I was super impressed by just the temporal consistency. And this is something that does not come across in the footage that we have, either the very brief snippets of footage that NVIDIA provided or the off-screen footage that we have that is necessarily degraded by being captured through like a CMOS sensor and having compressed color range and having lower fidelity, right? At least the content that we sampled, and we had full control over these games, the game content was remarkably stable for what is basically like, you know, a very, very fancy video-to-video model. It did exhibit screen space artifacts of the kinds that we discussed in Starfield, right? Where it's trying to infer reflections that are not physically grounded necessarily in anything but the on-screen imagery. But the temporal consistency was super, super impressive. And it's especially surprising because the model seems to use so few inputs. Like, I actually dredged up just recently. I had I said something on DF Direct back 2 years ago where I basically said that I thought the direction of travel in game rendering might go towards something where you're combining a game engine with some kind of AI generation model, generative AI model, which could take graphical input, could be material IDs, could be motion vectors, could be a lot of different inputs, and then produce something kind of in that Catanzaro vibe, although I would never compare myself to him, obviously, in any respect. But, you know, I said basically if this becomes extremely optimized and very good, then perhaps that'd be a very potent combination. But I never really thought that you could get there with just color and motion vectors. I mean, to go so far in color and motion vectors, it's just incredible. And obviously, you know, it does produce a very transformative result. I mean, we can talk about some of the nitty-gritty details when it comes to environmental lighting, when it comes down to faces. There are some very impressive things going on here. I think the overwhelming sentiment that was taken away from these demos was just that the faces don't look correct. I do agree the faces don't look correct.
Right.
I think the faces have that AI-generated look that Alex noted. I think they often lack fidelity.
Well, at least he's saying it. He's on that side.
To the source. I also think the tone mapping is just incorrect. Like when you look at these scenes, the tone mapping is dramatically heightened relative to original versions. Someone actually put together a quote-unquote corrected tone mapping version of a lot of these images, and all of a sudden, a lot of this contrast, a lot of this AI-generated look seeps out of the image, and they appear much, much more natural.
Yeah, so somebody went in and edited the footage in, I'm assuming they edited the footage in Photoshop, and they essentially took the image on the right and fixed the tone mapping. So in the center column, you're going to see DLSS with tweaked tone mapping in Photoshop, I'm assuming. The one on the right is from the demo. The one in the middle is the fix. So let's see if it does look better.
And I wonder if they had led with that imagery, if the response would have been markedly different, because when you do see them in that context, you can start to appreciate some of the improvements that are present in that imagery. So yeah, I think a lot of this just comes down to the fact, and perhaps maybe it comes down.
So I'll ask you guys now. When you tweak DLSS 5, does it look better to you guys?
Oi, Peakley, grab me bat. Time to bash the noggin.
Listen, Tim, where have you been? I love your breasts. By the way, I'm going to eat chicken wings. Let's get chicken wings quickly here. Guys, does the middle column look good to you? We'll continue the video in 30 seconds here. Well, I mean, Hill Phantom, I'm talking about when you talk about art, how can you talk about better? That's a true statement. How do you talk about better? Well, I mean, there's going to be a consensus within the society to say one thing looks better than another, right? You can't just say that doesn't exist. So, in my opinion, when you look at this tone mapping tweak, I can accept that. It does look a little bit better. I mean, it's still just an AI filter toned down. That's the problem with this technology. So let's continue. Also, here's my wings. You guys want to see my chicken wings? Look at these. That's just maple hickory sauce.
And also to the fact that people who are making the decisions around how to present this content might not have been artists. They might have been programmers. They might have been technical people. They might have been modelers. Might have been, I mean, modelers in the AI sense, not in the, you know, creating.
By the way, can you guys put a like on the stream? I really appreciate that. We're at 75 likes. There's 160 people here. Come on. What the fuck?
Jay's pussy.
Model sense. There might have been people who, you know, are biased towards things that humans like and are biased towards punchy imagery, and that's a perfectly fine bias to have, and certainly a lot of people like that imagery, but it also does not necessarily compare well to the original work. When you're trying to say this is an improvement, when you're trying to highlight some improved lighting in a picture, but all we can see is the dramatically heightened contrast, dramatically heightened kind of thresholded look of characters and their skin and their eyes and all these different things. So yeah, I mean, this is such a broad topic, but I do feel there are a few threads in there worth exploring. But overall, I just feel like NVIDIA's presentation of what is fundamentally a very impressive piece of technology, not just in terms of temporal consistency, but also in terms of making radical changes to an image and having that be stable over time, and some of those changes being very favorable. I just feel like
These are very robust wings.
this is a bit of a problem of their own making potentially.
So why did you make your video yesterday?
Yeah, it was interesting looking at your notes and reactions, Alex, that a lot of the environmental stuff, you just kind of put it down to exposure adjustments.
I mean, that was the gut reaction day of. Yeah, for sure. To me, it did remind me of, and at the time I really described it as photo-like, and I couldn't come up with a phrase of it, but maybe this phrase that I should have used is studio photo-like, where you see people with, like large flash amplifiers when they take photos. And then if you've ever seen that style of photography, you know exactly what I'm talking about, or HDR combined photography.
Okay, what are you saying? What's he just saying?
Do we like Mona Lisa BC? It's perfect? Or because it's not hash art?
Do we like Mona Lisa because it's perfect or because it's not art? Or because it's not perfect? I get what you're saying. Well, that's a good question. Do we like the Mona Lisa painting because it's perfect or not perfect? I think it's relative. I think what I'm getting at there, Hill Phantom, it's about who made it. If a computer made it, then it's stolen. If a human painted it, then it's art. That's what my argument is.
So that's kind of what I got out of it from that aspect. To talk about some of this from a technical perspective, though, there is actually quite a lot to say. And I think this is what I wanted to reference earlier, but I didn't want to talk too much about technical considerations.
Hail Phantom, I love you.
But I wonder if this is the wrong hammer for a screw. And the reason why I say that is because I do think about color and motion vectors and a 2D image and things that we tried to get away from for a long period of time with stuff like ray tracing and path tracing is screen space artifacts, screen space view dependent issues. And now when screen space stuff doesn't affect the entire image and takes place in very small portions of an image, let's say screen space shadows that are very conservative, then you don't notice the issues with them so much, so where people are really happy with them and they love them. But as soon as screen space, things that are only really there in screen space start to take up larger parts of the screen, I think that's when everyone starts getting to, I hate this effect. I hate SSAO. I hate SSR on big bodies of water. This person's skin looks weird because it uses screen space subsurface scattering. It doesn't make sense from this lighting angle. They look clammy or they look papery. And so when you rely too much on screen space, you can start having visual issues in a game. And I think since this is applying to the full image and it's applying to things which are very, very 3D, constantly moving character models, for example, disoccluding geometry all over the place. I didn't see it in motion. I imagined it is temporally stable, but I also think that you're just going to get big issues in terms of consistency. And I saw that in the demo when characters were different sizes on screen. I talked about it in my initial gut reaction. Grace, when she's blown up in a cutscene really close to the camera, the ABs or the swipes are very similar to one another beyond micro things it is doing to her skin pores and maybe some differences in the eyes. Yeah. But then you get to stuff like Grace being smaller on screen, and I think that's when the model with less resolution, since she's smaller, further away, less detailed, less accurate lighting due to denoising and everything, then it has a lot of trouble bringing out anything that is reasonable, and you get these hallucinations that make Grace not look like Grace anymore.
I think he's got a good point, where when you're up close to something, you're getting more detail out of it. So he's essentially saying the AI has a hard time with accomplishing the same detail at a distance because it's dealing with more. At a distance.
And so I think that is a fundamental issue, and it actually is a very different way than I thought neural rendering would be going. When I saw papers talking about like neural representation of surfaces, materials, geometry, anything like that, I thought we would be seeing like discrete primitives being adjusted by neural stuff, but still rendered via path tracing. So we'd get the benefit in that aspect, and that's where we'd spend the ML hardware in. But this here is using that ML hardware for post-processing the image after the fact, which may at some...
God, that looks so bad.
AI is really good for medical research and medicine.
Yeah. Like I said, AI is a great tool for a tool.
Jay, I am drinking Foster's. AI put an Aussie filter on a Canadian beer. Life is weird.
At some point in time in the future, actually be a good way.
What the hell? I don't drink beer, so I don't know the taste of all that. I've never had a sip, guys. I've never actually had a sip of beer in my life. Is that weird?
To add the final touch with less bias. But I think right now it is too much of a heavy hammer, given the visual quality. I'm not even talking about ethics. I'm just talking about the technical stuff there. And so that is the kind of like appreciation I got of it.
K-Nubs, thank you. I love you.
From the technical things. But that doesn't mean everything was visually awful. I won't go into that and say everything was AI slop. I thought there was a lot of AI sloppy looking people there. But I thought also, like when it did the close-up of Leon, I immediately noticed that his hair had way better shading on it. Like path tracing hair, that is hair strands, totally ridiculously expensive. And so we do simplifications on lighting, shadowing, everything there. And the hair with DLSS 5 there was superior by far. You could also see that when a lot of the character models from Starfield, they would have hair that was not attached to their heads, essentially, in terms of lighting. And the hair shading was very simplified. Man, on most of them, the hair just looked actually a lot better with the way it sat on the head, disregarding stylistic differences with their faces. So like there is an application for this, I presume. We adjust things in path tracing with screen space information all the time to make them better. We add in things like fog. We add in things like decals. Anything that is volumetric is pretty hard to trace against. And I could imagine this post-processing style of using ML to get better details into a thing actually is super applicable. But I think this is such a huge, large screen problem applying to whole image with only 2D information, and it just falls into problems visually, not even talking about the ethics. So yeah, that was kind of my take on the technical side of this demo.
I think...
Man, he really doesn't like him. Like, the way he reacts to his thoughts, he's just like, great. Yep, great. It's insane. He doesn't like him.
Another thing that's going to happen, we kind of alluded to it in the first video, is that the process by which you can create DLSS 5 imagery is such that even if developers don't support it, it's going to be modded in anyway. So there is an argument that the genie is kind of going to come out of the box. I mean, if it is like a 2D color space and motion vectors, which are part of NVIDIA Streamline anyway, the mods are going to come, right? Surely.
Yeah.
And so the genie is sort of out of the bottle in that respect.
Yeah.
And and I think there's something else to it, which is that the thing that I kind of find most that I've been reflecting on most is basically that there is only one model here, and that model is NVIDIA's. And it may well be the case that it's kind of like a binary response to it from a developer's perspective. It's either like, yes, this suits my game, or no, it doesn't, when I think that the future of the technology is going to be a lot more nuanced.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of comments very similar to Alex's from different developers I've been talking to, different people I've been talking to. I completely understand that perspective, but I also think from NVIDIA's perspective, there's probably an enormous temptation here to say, hey, we basically want something that can be a big post-process, something that understands, quote unquote, understands lighting, understands at least the characteristics of photographs, can apply them to game imagery, and can produce what appears to be a radical improvement, or at least in some cases, a radical improvement in lighting fidelity on older games, right? On games that have already shipped, on games like Starfield that don't even have ray tracing, on, you know...
How does Starfield not have ray tracing? It's insane.
You could go back. They talked about using this in Minecraft. You know, you could do this to really old games and do like RTX style lighting remasters. You could do all kinds of different things. Like, this opens up so many different...
Which I said yesterday. I said that this technology would be great for
Old dude
remasters.
intimidated by younger, more attractive dude.
Nightbreaker's lost his mind tonight. But, you know, it's like this technology could be actually used for remastering a game. You know? I mean, depends how you're using it, but like, I just don't like the blanket vibe that we were getting, that it's going to be on everything, guys. All your characters are going to look the same. Especially because it looks like shit. It looks terrible.
Doors for you that a technology like a neural materials could not necessarily. And I presume neural materials, I think that's still part of NVIDIA's plan for this, but like this technology is more totalizing on game output and really in just a much more dramatic way. So if you can get this to stick in some capacity, and it looks like they've made it stick at least to some degree and solved some of the really hard problems like temporal consistency, which I always thought was just going to be a dead end for this kind of technique for years and years, evidently is.
You all know him as Alex. I know him as Doc Yeager. He is hung. Just saying.
Dude, what does that mean? What is he? Doc Yeager? What is that? His alternate persona? What does he do? Dude, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
Not at least with this kind of more moderate, more conservative approach to just relighting scenes as
By the
opposed
way,
to changing like geometry.
Hill Phantom, where the hell is the Pocket 4? Where's the DJI Pocket 4? I want it now. Where is it?
In a major way, or swapping out styles, artistic styles in a huge way. It seems like you're able to do this. And, you know, I mean, like, you do
Hail Satan.
see big improvements in lighting across different scenes. Like in this shot, for instance, in Starfield, the characters are horribly underexposed for lighting conditions. They're basically silhouettes. The shadows aren't really there. And
Look at how bad... Guys, look at how bad Starfield looks. Oh my god, Starfield.
when you go over to the DLSS 5 view, the shadows are deeper and imply real depth and dimensionality. Light transport is much better.
Pocket
much better
4
material
has a
definition.
built-in pocket. Well, you know.
I know. Hill Phantom, I'm actually asking you where it is. I love you. Why hasn't it been released? Even with AI, Starfield still looks like shit.
Congratulations.
Like, there are a lot of improvements there. Also get the added SSR reflections in Starfield, which I keep going back to just because I think it's charming that we've basically gone, we're back to SSR, and that's like the pinnacle of graphics rendering at the moment is redoing SSR.
I'll be honest, I think that Starfield's a very chill, relaxing game. I like it. Graphically, what the fuck?
But in an incredibly computationally expensive way that requires a second 5090 at present. That's kind of amusing to me. But they also add in contact shadows in this scene in Hogwarts Legacy in a very cool way. They add rim lighting, which is kind of an artistic flourish in some ways, but it's kind of cool in Hogwarts Legacy. Again, that
Expensive RAM needs to be challenged. New tech.
Yeah, we're looking at it. Grim, we're looking at the new tech.
something that, you know, no reshade plugin.
That's one of the problems, but we're being pushed into it. Also, Hill Phantom, where the hell is it? Hill Phantom, honestly, where the hell is the Pocket 4? I want to buy it.
It could really do to this level of degree, I would say. You get, obviously, that complete shift in lighting conditions in Oblivion. We don't need to talk about
Grim Tim, appreciate you.
that too much, but obviously other parts of the image are adjusted. The shadows are adjusted to accommodate that kind of more overcast look. But yeah, I mean, I think that there are a lot of changes in here that are really interesting technically. Like Alex noted, there are all kinds of problems that this kind of solves with one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Juicy Booch, the man that we love to hate. I don't know why I said that. He has gifted a goddamn membership. Guys, we're at 9 gifted memberships. Let's try to at least get to 25 by the end of the stream. If not, I have to put my dick in this guy's mouth. Thank you.
Fell swoop, and I think the other thing about it that's kind of interesting, maybe getting back to my earlier point, is like, you don't need individual systems to fix lighting problems, to fix material problems in your games. If this is working at, like, imagine a perfect version of this, you would not need those systems, right? Or even a good working version of this, you would not need those systems, or at least those systems would be dramatically de-emphasized. So it's like, here's one model, in the same way that like GPT is a model that is like generally intelligent. You can feed any.
Babe, the Pocket 4 is right here in my pussy.
All right. Thank you, Hill Phantom. I didn't know you're in China. Holy shit. Hence the Russian Pooh Bear. Wow. Canada is on the good list so far. That's all I could say. Wow, is DJI having a hard time releasing new technologies? Because of the drone bullshit? Also, let's play that again. I missed it. Thank you, Nightbreaker. Also, thank you, Booch. Thank you, the Boochie.
Boochie.
Babe, the Pocket 4 is right here in my pussy.
Content into it, and it can understand it as semantic awareness. It can do all these different things with some limits, of course. This model is like solving lighting to such a fantastic degree that you could really get an incredible result out of it. Now, are we seeing that today with this model? I would say no. But version 2, version 3 of this technology, especially if we get all the important artist controls that are necessary for this to work, maybe you have some kind of like prompting system where you're combining the semantic awareness with more direction from the developers and things like this. Like, you can imagine a version of this.
You can imagine a version of this where it becomes good and it's still fucking AI nonsense.
That does something quite extraordinary, and I think that that would be an immense accomplishment. I don't think we're seeing it today with this model. But I think that's the temptation, at least from NVIDIA's side, where they're trying to push out something that is provocative and perhaps without the
Jay's pussy.
Perhaps without the integration from developers and the understanding from developers that perhaps they should have before they pursued this project in public in the way they have.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this guy is, from my perception, he seems to be like, don't talk shit about this.
I think we should wrap up now. There's still a huge debate going on. It's not going to be stopping for quite some time. I wonder when there will be a consensus. I wonder how that's how long away that is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, also not having a consensus is fine as long as there's multiple paths to achieve similar goals, hence artistic vision, hence doing things by yourself, right? And I think that's one of the things that is very different about this is that it is, kind of like a lot of the democratizing features of technology is that you don't have to have any good sense of artistic value to apply to certain techniques to something. And we saw this all throughout rendering technologies past. The first time we got programmable full screen, shading, people would just throw quads on the screen and, shade games with piss filters, like we had years of the piss and the brown filters. So like, the thing is like, I think this, like a lot of things, it's gonna somehow come out and, it's just a matter of leaving room for any sort of artistic vision is probably the key thing there for me, and just letting people not use it, of course.
For now, I think the there is going to be a lot of choice involved because like there is so little support, and it's only probably going to run on high-end NVIDIA 50 series GPUs, I'd have to imagine. And it is going to be completely optional in these games. So for now, at least, you know, it is basically something along the lines of a reshade plugin or RTX remix or HDR mods. I mean, a lot of game developers set HDR in ways that people really dislike, but arguably that's the developer's vision. Maybe they wanted their HDR peak white to be set at 400 nits. Who knows? I mean, some developers genuinely do want that appearance, but I set it to 2000 regardless. And maybe that's stripping away some, I mean, that's certainly disrespecting the artistic vision. Don't get me wrong, disrespecting the artistic vision. This is something that's maybe along the same lines at its most offensive, I suppose. Although you do have buy-in from the developers, but suppose you were just enabling on a per game basis without that kind of consent there, using something like Optiscaler. But yeah, I mean, this is just so complex. I think the real question is, like, how does this shake out? Does it shake out that in 6 months this comes out and everyone with like a 5070 Ti, 5080 or above is just toggling on all games, Optiscaler, everyone just loves the look, and we're going forward with it? That's a very different future from the world in which this comes out. People all of a sudden observe all kinds of issues in games that weren't evident in Rich and I's, you know, understandably somewhat time-limited experience in a few.
Booch is gifted $1.
Demo areas and a few games that were shown to us, even though we did have significant control over those games. Maybe there are issues. Maybe the reality of getting the models down to work on less than 250/90 is just going to cause some issues for its graphical output again, and we won't ever talk about this ever again. Or maybe it'll be somewhere in between. I suspect it'll be somewhere in between.
They'll
but
talk
yeah,
about
this is going to be a hard thing to shake out in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to wrap up here with a final question from Garton Racer. Hey there, I hope you're feeling well, because being at the centre of a shitstorm is never great. Was this your first one? Man, are you a newcomer? I don't think so. I mean, you know, you can go back all the way back to the original Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, head-to-heads we did back in.
He took a shitstorm on, all right. What's this? Somebody donated. Seth has gifted $2. Thank you, Seth.
The day. It was like a shitstorm every week, basically.
Here's where they talk about the shitstorm.
Certainly wasn't the first one. I guess last year there was the whole Zelda ad thing as well. Alex, you've certainly stirred up a hornet's nest in the past by saying that FSR1 wasn't very good.
Yeah, the FSR1 was probably the first time I freaked out. I think that was also a core learning for me, where I realized there's only so much control you have over a video you produce with 1.5 work hours a week in it. And the fluidity of YouTube doesn't mean that the audience is forgetful, but if you come back a week later with something that isn't controversial or something everybody loves, you know, you're not branded for eternity for being the guy who didn't like FSR1.
Although I'm going to ask you guys this question. Did this actually hurt the integrity of Digital Foundry? We're going to end the video there because it's just them closing out. But did this hurt the integrity? Do you guys truly feel? I mean, did it or did it not? What do you guys think? Some people are saying yes. Left Control says no. Christopher says no. Banshee is mixed. Okay, what else we got?
Old bald dude is getting mobbed by young gentlemen.
Fresh Hotline says yes. I mean, the fact that he came out and said that we should have listened to the audience first, that was a weird statement. This is a still watch. Of course, everyone's still going to watch. I'm not here to shit on them, but I'm saying there's certain red flags I saw that were a little interesting. Grim says, Jay, I like your new format. It's not my new format. It's just I wanted to try something new on the show. Did you guys enjoy all of this stuff that we've done over the last couple of days? Because tomorrow on the show, we're playing the award-winning... It's not award-winning. We're playing the 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 Crimson Desert, which I'm really I'm sad. I'm sad. I was thinking that game was going to come out and be this... We're going to find out tomorrow my reaction to it, but so far it seems like anybody who loves open world action games, some people are saying it's the best one yet. Like for a while at least, quote unquote.
Shook it. I liked it.
Listen, Hill Phantom, I love you. So some people are saying it's amazing. Some people are saying it's just okay. So tomorrow, yeah. Nightbreaker says, Jay, I embrace you. Listen, embrace my ass. He says, I embrace new things on your streams. Thank you for everyone that tuned in today. I appreciate it. We've got 9 gifted memberships, so thank you for keeping that dream alive. Appreciate the memberships, by the way. Thank you to everyone that's gifting memberships. Thank you. You know, I like to try new things here and there, and today I thought, we'll watch an hour-long video. Hopefully you enjoyed this content today, but tomorrow, back to gameplay. Crimson Desert. Is it gonna be good? Probably, I'll probably enjoy it, but I'm hearing the UI is terrible, and I'm hearing a few other things, which I'm a little skeptical on, so we're gonna have to find out tomorrow. Then Friday, I'm off. Saturday, we're back with the one and only Vapist. We're going to continue our playthrough of Resident Evil. So don't miss Saturday. And then Sunday, we're just having a chill stream. Relaxing our breasts, chilling out. That's it. So I'll have a schedule up on Monday.
Okay, I'll embrace your ass, but I'll have to fuck it too.
Jay's pussy.
Oh my God.
Jay's pussy.
John Bain says, I pre-order on PS5 Pro. Nice, dude. It runs pretty well there from the footage I've seen. So I hope you guys have a good night. Thanks for this. I'll watch Crimson Desert. Thank you, Snip. Sips? Sippies? Appreciate you. See you guys tomorrow. We're going to play Crimson Desert tomorrow. Then we'll see. We'll see what the hype is about. Hill Phantom, I absolutely will do that. Thank you. Alan Jones, thank you. Grim says stay. I like to make these confined little videos for people to watch. I don't want to tail end it with nonsense. We'll get back to nonsense on this show. Don't worry about that. But I hope you guys enjoyed the new type of content I'm trying. You guys are supporting it, as DSP would say, so it seems like you care. So thank you. I appreciate that. We're not going to always do this. We're going to get back to the mayhem. Trust me. The mayhem still exists. But I wanted to try something new. K-Nub says, thank you guys for not supporting and getting 25 members during this low support week.
Congratulations.
You're fired. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Membership support has been low. So the show is over. It's canceled. Thank you for tuning in.
If you truly love video games like I do, this moment is for all of us.
Have a good night. Thank you for the dollars. The dollar, what is it called again? What's it fucking called? The dollar trade. Thank you for the dollar trade. Thank you. Appreciate the dollar trade. Appreciate the dollars coming in. Lots of low support today. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the low support. Thank you. Oh, your camera's over here. Love you. started this. Thank you, Ian.
Oh my.
Guys, wait a second. Guys, hang on. Tim says, can I say something? Yes, go ahead. What is it?
Bucci, Jucci.
I love you. We'll see you at 5. I'm dying. See you guys at 5 tomorrow. I love all of you.
If you truly love video games like I do, this moment is for all of us.
Jay's pussy.